double check this. I need to open that. Okay, all right. That's good. Okay, that's exactly what I want. Welcome. Let me. Streaming to Facebook. Okay, hold on. Remove. Okay. We should be nice and live. We should be live now. We should be live. I was having a bit of trouble streaming to Facebook. Now it should be live now. We should be straight. I'm straight with the list. Okay. We should be okay now. Okay, I just said I had a little bit of issue streaming to Facebook, but it looked like we up and going. Come on in, everybody. We got a good show for you today. Let me just do one last thing. We got a good show for you today. Come on in, everyone. I'll be doing just one last minute. Welcome, welcome. We got a good show for you today. Give me 1 second. I had to check some stuff, make sure some stuff was right. I didn't want to. My string wasn't picking up, but now that it is, we're good to go. We are good to go. So I just want to make sure everything is where it needs to be. I just want to make sure all the pictures that I want to load it up, they loaded. I have to make sure. All right, welcome, 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 welcome. Please join me. Thank you for joining me. We about to get started. I just had to make sure things were exactly as I needed them to go. Okay, that went out and received. We will be talking about the Bryant family today. We're going to talk a lot about that in her speech, so let me get started. I need the time. We're going to be interviewing 3 people, 3 men, 3 masculine men today. So we're going to be doing that. Okay. That's what we're going to be doing today. Making sure everything good. Welcome. Come on in. All right. Get my phone ready. My light just went out. Okay. Okay. All right. Welcome. Let me make sure. Get all these pictures up. Okay, that's the one I'm starting. Okay, welcome. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for joining me today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My name is Levita Jones. I will be presenting information to you today. Okay. We're going to talk about the Bryant family today, and we're going to really look at the speech that Vanessa Bryant done. We're gonna look at the speech that Vanessa Bryant had done. And I really didn't care for her speech. So I'm gonna give some background story on them to make sure that everybody's clear, because I even had to get clear. I'm having issues, I'm not sure with Facebook, but hopefully that comes around. Because my stream did not immediately go to Facebook. It was saying it was having problems connecting, but now that it is, okay, cool. All right, so what I'm going to do is present this information to you. I'm going to present the information, and then as I present the information, this is all going to be my opinion, what I think about Vanessa Bryant. That's what we're going to go through. What I think about Vanessa Bryant after I present the information. I watched the video. I watched a few videos, and I watched a video from Lovelyti. I put her the video link in the chat. So if anybody wanted to look at Lovelyti in that video, I would recommend it. It's a 40-minute video. And it does a great in-depth job of talking about Vanessa Bryant and Kobe Bryant and how they started. So basically what I'm going to do is get a bullet points from that. And then I'm going to move on to her speech. And then I'm going to move on to my interviews. Okay. Please support the channel. You could please support it via Cash App or via PayPal at LevitaTheModel Cash App or paypal.me/LevitaJones. Okay. Shout out to Lovelyti for the research that she did with the receipts. I love her content. She's a great content creator. I really like her content. So I respect her as a content creator because she really always comes through with the receipts. So let me share my screen and get started. So right now I'm going to just pull up share just a lot of photos. That's it. I'm going to share a lot of photos with you just to show. Okay. That's showing. Okay, great. All right. So right now we are looking at Sophia Lane and Vanessa Lane. That is Kobe Bryant wife, Miss Vanessa Lane on the right, and on the left is Miss Sophia Lane, which is his mother-in-law, which is Vanessa Lane's mother. Okay, so that is the Lanes. That is the maiden names before she became Bryant. Okay, so let's look at this. This is important to know. So I'm gonna make sure I keep up with my notes to stay on track. Now look at this. It's important to know the parents of Kobe Bryant because we're gonna be talking about them shortly. Let me see if I can go to a photo of them really quick. A photo to show y'all a photo of them. If I had a photo in there. Okay, it's not okay, not in that slide deck. Not in this slide deck. That's okay. So I didn't have it in this slide deck. I tried to make a slide deck to stay, but I had to, for some reason, my photos weren't backing up. So I had to like email them to myself. Okay, so I'm gonna go right here. Now, this is Vanessa and Sophia Lane. But what's important, why am I doing this is because the parents did not attend Kobe Bryant's and Vanessa Lane wedding. They did not speak at his funeral, nor were they revered respectively or honored even at his Hall of Fame induction. And so all of those things I had an issue with. So what's my point today? My point today is to talk about how it is very important for the original man to understand how he is leaving his legacy. And when he's no longer here and his woman, his wife, his chosen one is still here, she is going to carry his legacy on. So we have to make sure that these, the mates that we're choosing and things like that are who love us, who's down for us, and who want the best for us, and also who would, love our families just as much as they love us. Because when people get married, they're not just marrying the individual; they're also marrying the family. Hey, Madison. Hey, Madison, how you doing? I see you backstage, Madison. I'm going to pull you in about 20 minutes or 25 minutes, I swear. I'm finna get this on. I know Madison Downs is gonna be interviewed first, then Jarome Bell, then Mr. Moreno Nashoba. So we're gonna have all these men here today. It's gonna be good. Y'all gonna hear it. The game y'all gonna get today, baby. Okay, so let's look at this. It's important to know because Kobe Bryant parents, Pam and Joe, his name is Jelly Bean Bryant, really catch a lot of slack saying they didn't like Vanessa based on because, it was a racist thing, but it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was just that they supported their son. They very heavily invested into him, and they felt like he rushed into a relationship with someone who didn't truly love him, especially when they looked at the background of the family. Now, let me say, I did not know a lot about Kobe Bryant. I must say I was a Bulls fan. More so, I knew everything about Michael Jordan. I grew up on the west side of Chicago, literally where the United Center was, which was about 15 minutes from my house, literally on the west side of Chicago, Illinois, is where the United Center still stands, and that's where I'm from. So I was like a hardcore Bulls fan. So when Michael Jordan phased out, I kind of phased out of basketball. I never was just a basketball fan. I was a Bulls fan. So I didn't know a lot about Kobe Bryant. So other than maybe what the news highlighted or the media covered, I just didn't follow him. I didn't know a lot about it. So I knew he came into the league from high school to things like that, but I just didn't know a lot. When I researched this to do this show today, I learned a lot about Kobe Bryant. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, now all this makes sense. But at the same time, I was like, this is really showing. Vanessa really showed out with, from the wedding, from the funeral, and all the way even up to the Hall of Fame speech. And you're going to see why. So let me keep going. If you notice, Miss Pam and Jelly Bean Joe never speak publicly about the situation with them and Kobe Bryant, okay, because they had became estranged over time and they were a very close-knit family. And Miss Sophia Lane, the minute that like Kobe Bryant died and Vanessa Lane did not, give her $5 million and a Benz and all this, a house, she went right. And this picture is her at Telemundo giving an interview and saying, hey, I wanted more and she didn't give me more. Sophia Lane, in the words of her own ex-husband, which is Stephen Lane, that's the last name she has, he called her a spiteful and a gold digger. I totally agree with that. She's greedy. She is really selfish to me. And Vanessa was a product of that. I won't say that Vanessa and Kobe weren't in love. I think they were in love, but at the same time, Vanessa was complicit and, just pumping all she could from Kobe based on just her and her mom's relationship under her mom's tutelage. And, and it showed also in the Hall of Fame. I don't think she really, really, really was in that relationship just because she solely loved Kobe. I know it was a finessing going on. It was some finessing up in there. Okay, that's just what it is. So we're gonna see that. We're gonna really see, was Kobe simping? Was he? Okay, so we're gonna see that. Now let's look at this. Jelly Bean Joe and Pam. They never spoke publicly. Jelly Bean Joe was a very masculine man. He was such a provider, heterosexual, just like the man I'm gonna have on here today. Still to this day, he never comes out publicly complaining. He does no social media warring and any of that with Kobe Bryant or anybody. So you just won't find out. And that is what, masculine men do. So I'm just gonna kind of compare Kobe to his father a lot in here. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Welcome. Thank you for joining me. All right, let me keep going now. Vanessa Lane and Sophie Lane. Okay, Vanessa lived in Orange County, California with her mother, Sophia. Vanessa was very sheltered. If she went out with friends, she would have to call home literally hourly. Her parents, Sophia Lane and Stephen Lane, were very strict, especially about her dating. So they kept her also sheltered. I say shout out to them for keeping her preserved, that, they were not letting her just run wild, okay, as a teen and things like that. So, she did good. She's beautiful. She fit. As you can see, this is literally her high school yearbook picture. Okay. So Sophia mom, hey DP, what's up everybody? Thank y'all for joining me. Come on in, we're gonna learn something today. Okay, so her mom Sophia put Vanessa into modeling when she was a teenager, about 16, and she was discovered at a hip-hop concert where a guy was camcording. He was looking for models, and she exchanged the information with him, and from that point on, she became like a video vixen. She was in a couple videos, as I explain it as I keep going. She started even as an extra, a background dancer, and then kind of like a feature role in Kobe Bryant, and that's how she segued her relationship with Kobe Bryant. So let's look at Sophia Lane. Sophia Lane is the mother of two daughters. Vanessa was the youngest. Sophia worked as a shipping clerk, and she was later promoted to a manager of electronics firm. She divorced her first husband, which is Vanessa's father, and his name, when Vanessa was the baby. And Sophia name, maiden name before the Lane, that's Lane, Stephen Lane is her second husband, is Urbieta. Urbieta. Okay, that was her name, Urbieta, and her husband name was Cornejo. His last name was Cornejo. So Vanessa Bryant father name is Cornejo. So that's who the names before they married. Okay. So when Sophia Lane met her second husband, Stephen Lane, she was literally living in her sister's spare bedroom as a single mother. Okay. After the marriage, sometime later, Vanessa and Sophia both changed their name. And eventually, family brought a 4-bedroom home, and she became very close with the Lane family. And she attended high school with Stephen Lane nieces. They grew up like sisters. But later on, when Vanessa grew kind of strange to her family of the Lane family due to the bitter divorce between Sophia and Stephen. Now, Vanessa Lane Bryant started her modeling career as she was discovered, like I said, at the concert. Her mother had accompanied her to every single modeling gig that she did and everything. So if you ask me, Sophia had a mindset to get her daughter in the mix of men, I would say rappers and athletes. And that's why I posted 3 links, if y'all see in the description, of Kobe Bryant and his rap career. I forgot Kobe was a rapper for like a year. And so he actually made an album. I'll cover that in a minute. Okay, so she was featured in Crazy Bone video, Snoop Dogg video, and also later Kobe Bryant video. And Snoop said he introduced Kobe Bryant to Vanessa Lane and said, hey, maybe you might want to put her in your video, and Kobe did. So this video she did this is at a time where she had a bikini, long black fingernails, a different look than what her mother had allowed for her like her whole life. So she had expanded her look in a way that she had never done before. So Kobe was a rapper with one album. His album was called Visions. Okay, and he had 16 tracks on that album, and he did some really big features. So remember, Jelly Bean Joe was instrumental in getting these connections for Kobe. He had big features such as Nas, 50 Cent, Benny Siegel, and even Destiny Child. And his first single release was called KOBE, and it was featuring Tyra Banks. He also did Brian McKnight even featured him on a song. Now, if you want to see this music, I got 3 links up there. I would recommend you go look at them. I had to put them because I was like, nobody probably remember Kobe Bryant rapping because I totally forgot. Okay, so he also performed with Tyra Banks at the 2000 All-Star Game. Okay, they recorded the song KOBE. Performed it, and Kobe was under Sony Records. And if we remember, Shaquille O'Neal also had 3 albums, one went platinum, one went gold, and he featured Kobe on his, but I could not find that footage. Okay, this goes to show that Kobe and his parents really supported Kobe and just his dreams, just whatever Kobe wanted to, aspirations were. The Jelly Bean Joe specifically, because he was the man of the house. He led the house. He was a provider the whole time. He led while, Pam, the mom, she was very instrumental in the home life, cooking, cleaning, scheduling, doing laundry, and everything like that. The way a nuclear traditional family should be ran, that Joe and Pam Jellybean Bryant was the epitome of that. Okay, and their investment was that son, and look at how awesome their son become. Now, at the time Kobe Bryant and Vanessa met, she was 16 years old and Kobe was 21, and this was in 1999. Now, remember, he was drafted into the NBA in 1996 at 18 years of age. Okay, Vanessa was a sophomore in high school as they dated, and Kobe would buy her like numerous bouquets of roses and things like that and send them to the high school office and like flood the office with bouquets of like roses. He did it so much that the school asked him to like stop doing it. Like, and this is how you know that Kobe wasn't really aware of things, because he being 21 and she being 16, I don't know if he understood it wasn't the best to make that relationship really public like that. But he did. Okay. So Kobe, Snoop said that he could tell that when he met Kobe was really into Vanessa, and they clicked immediately on the set. So he saw chemistry between them on the set. Kobe, as they dated, was picking her up from school and his Benz, and he would drop her off in the morning. So I said, hold on, I thought she had strict parents. But at this time, I guess, Sophia had like an injury on her back. And so I guess, Vanessa became way more liberal and free. Okay. The romance was so big that it disrupted the entire school. So the school encouraged Vanessa Bryant to homeschool, which later in her senior year she did, and Kobe Bryant paid for it. It was so bad that the television helicopters were regularly flying and hovering over the school for photos, and TV crews showed up often, paparazzi, that they actually banned Kobe from the school. Due to, they said the only explanation the school gave, that and gave any more commentary other than that, is that it was just setting a bad example. Okay. Now back to Sophia Lane. She was injured seriously on her back, and she couldn't work for 2 years. So, hence this is how Vanessa got all this freedom. Okay. That was starting to overwhelm the Lane family, and they had to actually file bankruptcy. And they did that on Vanessa's 4 days after Vanessa's 18th birthday party. After she turned 18 years, and Kobe Bryant and Vanessa had announced that they were going to get engaged. And 4 days later, the Lane, Stephen, and the mom, Sophia, had to file bankruptcy. And it was quoted that they said, "My daughter is marrying Kobe Bryant, and I'm signing bankruptcy papers." So they didn't like the idea that they had to file bankruptcy. Okay, so now you have, the high school not really feeling this relationship. The Stephen and Sophia Lane was kind of, not really feeling it in their own way, because they had to file bankruptcy, and they were broke. So they was mad and broke at the time. The Bryants, which is Kobe Bryant and Pam and Joe Jellybean, weren't really supportive of it. They felt Kobe was rushing into it, and the family and the team members of the Lakers weren't supportive of it either. So they said that the ladies, Kobe Bryant, this is what the teammates said. They said Kobe Bryant was unhealthy, attached to had an unhealthy attachment to Vanessa Bryant. And the Lakers teammates also said that he got attached because he needed a friend. Kobe Bryant needed someone to accept him. They not really sure that it was love. Okay, because if y'all think about it, Kobe Bryant grew up in Italy. So I'm going to get his background. But he grew up in Italy for a stint of his life, about 8 years before he came back to the United States. And so Kobe, to the point that the whole family was fluent in Italian. So Kobe was very sheltered himself. He was not really at all. You might as well call him green. So this is why this finesse that Sophia and Vanessa put down on him really worked, because, of course, he was a rookie. He literally was 18. He's coming out of high school, going into, an arena with grown men, professional ball players. And he just did not understand the culture of groupies and how serious they finesse game be. Okay. So let's keep going. Okay. So when Kobe was asked what he saw in Vanessa, he said she is pure, innocent, and not jaded by the world. Okay. So one family friend said that Vanessa had little in common with Kobe exes. So if y'all remember, Kobe exes was like Jocelyn. This is her here. You can see her here. She's here in the middle, and then she's here at the bottom in the purple. She became friends with Evelyn Lazada and also Shawnee O'Neal, because she was Kobe Bryant's high school sweetheart. She was his first love. She was totally in love with Kobe Bryant, but she had to kind of take a back burner because she understood that Kobe's career came first. Okay, let me keep going. Now, also the family friend said that Vanessa had little in common with Kobe exes, and they specifically said she wore a lot of black lip liner and long red fire engine fingernails. Now, let me say that. So, but they are Mexican, as you know. I'm trying to find a picture. So right here, you can see a picture of. So this is like at the top, Vanessa and Kobe. Vanessa and Kobe. And even this picture down at the right bottom was like on his video shoot. This when Kobe was a rapper, like 1999. And then when you look at the bottom left, this is literally Kobe Bryant and Vanessa's wedding. And the only people that attended was Vanessa's mom. And then the lady that's kneeling down is the judge that conducted the wedding. It was done at a small Catholic church. Literally, that was all who was in attendance. I'm surprised neither side of the family was there, especially for Kobe to have been a millionaire. You got to remember, Kobe was about 21 at this time. He was in the league 2 or 3 years, so he could definitely afford a better wedding than that. But what was the point if nobody really was going to come? Nobody supported this relationship in the beginning. They felt like it was whirlwind. It was too fast. It was like a year, and they get married. Especially with Vanessa's background, and then also Kobe being, just this caliber of man coming from a good family. His family felt like, this was just going too fast, and Kobe was really just in love. So basically, Kobe was whipped, honey. He was whipped. Okay, so let's keep going. Another family friend of the Bryants said that they thought Vanessa was too young and uncultured and of another race. So she really didn't understand, maybe how melanated people raise their children. And I can see that because she never made it a priority to me in my eyes. This is just me on the outside looking in, to make amends with Kobe's parents. And it shows from their wedding to Kobe's death, from the funeral, and then also her Hall of Fame speech. His parents were never directly in the spotlight with her. And I just don't, and that's what I can see what they were saying, was she was just very young, immature, uncultured. Okay, she didn't understand the value of family, but also how could she when her mother was a single mom for a while and really was a gold digger herself and didn't really drive home the importance of family. Okay, so let's look at let's keep going. In the beginning, the family let me go back. Her mom, Vanessa, Miss Sophia, being Mexican, and the stepdad, Stephen Lane, was white, and her birth dad is Mexican. So they felt like no matter what, she couldn't really relate to what it was to be within a melanated, not only culture but household. And she really never segued her way in to get the parents' approval. She never really made that she married that family also. Now, her mom, another teammate said that Kobe Bryant didn't understand that she was a kid and was just simply in awe of him. They talking about Vanessa Bryant, and she never complained. This is what a teammate was saying about Kobe Bryant and Vanessa. Now, in the beginning, the Bryant family tried to give her an honest try. They attended some games and celebrations for Kobe with her, but and they kind of hoped that the relationship would just fizzle on out, but it never did, right? So everyone could see that it was basically a finesse, but Kobe Bryant could not see that. And all this was later confirmed, let's say about 10 years later, when Stephen Lane basically told it all. Stephen Lane said that Sophia Lane and Vanessa Lane were actually gold diggers, and Sophia was the mastermind of it, okay? And he said that Vanessa deliberately waited 10 years to so-called divorce Kobe when Kobe was like, she said he slept with like 100 women, but that was later rescinded. And he said that the marriage is considered long-term and she would get paid for life until she remarries. And Stephen Lane said this is just as her mother Sophia did to him. So he said Vanessa Bryant was totally understanding of what she was doing. That's why I say she was complicit. I'm not saying they wasn't in love, but she was complicit, okay, in the finesse. And ain't nothing wrong with finesse. If you want to be with a man that means, I'm not mad at that. I just think that it's best to, keep a family unit together as best as possible, especially when that's what Kobe Bryant came from. But Kobe Bryant couldn't really keep this up himself because he was whipped at the time. Okay, he was young too. He was sheltered and it wasn't not worldly. He just didn't have a lot of game himself. And his teammates would just always look at him like he just don't get the groupie game, huh? And he didn't. So he weren't really listening to his parents. Okay. But I mean, what parent really gonna be able to get through to the mind of a man who, he was dropping Vanessa off at school, so he was getting them 16-year-old cookies, honey, every night. So it was just gonna be hard for the parents to break through that. Okay. So this was the most freedom he had. Look, he a young millionaire. It was just a lot. So the mother, so Stephen Lane said Sophia Lane was paid $1,800, clearly when she didn't even need it, a month in like spousal support, alimony, even after they divorced. And he said she don't even need it, but the fact that she's still taking the money, he said she's greed. It shows her greed. Stephen said he has a 6-year-old daughter, and this was at the time of the interview, and that the $18 could go toward her college fund, but Sophia doesn't care. She is just spiteful. This is him quote. So Sophia divorced Stephen 2 years after Kobe and Vanessa were married, basically setting her her retirement plan in stone. So basically, she didn't divorce Stephen Lane until Kobe Bryant and Vanessa was married 2 years. Stephen went on to be with another woman before the divorce finalized, and he said Sophia's respect for him was crumbling. Okay, so as Vanessa Bryant and Kobe were together, Sophia was spoiled with gifts, lavish gifts from Vanessa. She got a house full of furniture, an S500 Benz, $120,000 in cash. Her phone, dental, credit card bills were paid, and they also paid off all their mortgage debt. Okay, Stephen Lane's father said that all of a sudden, Stephen was not the man of the house anymore. No one asked what he wanted for dinner. So basically, his own wife wasn't saying, "Hey, babe, what you want for dinner?" He said that it went to, "What does Kobe want for dinner?" And Vanessa claimed in the affidavit during this divorce, this is why I'm saying she was complicit, that her stepdad was jealous of her mom's lavish gifts, and because they were more lavish than Stephen Lane's gifts, which resulted in clothes and computers and things like that. So Stephen said, no, I'm not. He said that it was that I became insignificant. Okay, so let me kick some game right here for y'all. If your man feel insignificant in his marriage and you disrespected him and he feels like the respect is lost and he's masculine, he's not going to live out. He's not trying to be a sucker to live on handouts from another man. He will part ways or, seek the respect elsewhere, because a masculine man is not going to coexist in a space where he's constantly disrespected and disregarded. Now, remember, when Stephen Lane met Sophia, she was a single mom living in her sister's spare bedroom. Now, all of a sudden, he ain't nobody. But he came to save you and put you in a 4-bedroom home with Vanessa. But now, all of a sudden, he nobody. He don't get the respect. So this is what I'm saying about, the finesse. They were complicit, but at the same time, karma came and got that butt. Okay, honey. Now, at the time, the Bryant family is past concern because Kobe is about to marry a young girl that he only dated for about a year and claimed he was in love after only just a couple months. Okay, and the family and the teammates were saying, versus his longtime girlfriend, who had the approval of the family. So let me show y'all some pictures of her. Let me see. So that's Vanessa now. Let me see. That's the family. So right here is, Kobe had a really close-knit family. I mean, his together at all times, every day. They were really together. His family, Joe and them, really. So this is Kobe's initial. She's in the top. The two pictures at I didn't mean to put the same picture, but that's her in the middle at the top, and then the bottom left. So that's Kobe Bryant, longtime girlfriend Jocelyn. Her name was Jocelyn Abram. Okay, so let me keep going. The long-term girlfriend Jocelyn. Okay, Kobe protected none of his assets with the prenup, and due to the threats and finesse of Sophia Lane. So Miss Sophia Lane constantly threatened Kobe with statutory rape, and said that I would press statutory rape charges if you don't marry my daughter. I would press statutory rape charges. So she was always threatening Kobe, and this was known to Kobe parents. This was known to Kobe teammates. It was just known because she kept pressing him. And eventually Kobe promised to marry her and propose to her on her 18th birthday. And he also promised to take care of Sophia Lane for the rest of her life. And this was proven in the document that Sophia Lane filed for court when she sued Vanessa for $5 million, a house and a Benz. So this is literally Sophia Lane showing you her greed and things like that. So Sophia Lane was just very just selfish and greedy. Okay, she was finessing the whole time, and she also did the interview on Telemundo, and that was the picture that I showed. She did an interview on Telemundo exposing all of this, basically saying, my finesse ain't working no more. My daughter won't give me everything I wanted. Okay, so her daughter eventually turned on her. Let me keep going. Then Kobe Bryant gave in, did never get the prenup due to the threats that Sophia Lane kept doing. Okay, and she said she would hurt his standing in the NBA if Kobe did not marry her daughter. So we got to understand, she's putting her daughter in modeling at young. She's letting her daughter, be free and liberal. She's basically letting her daughter hook Kobe Bryant. So I think they definitely had feelings for each other, but also Kobe was finessed about this marriage. Okay. Now, Sophia was the mastermind and Vanessa being compliant, and no prenup was done. Now, due to the knowledge, both sides of the family, literally no one supported this, as you see from the wedding on up. They just want that specifically family. Now, soon after Kobe decided to sell his California mansions, the family lived in it, and he sent them back to Pennsylvania. This is where they was originally from. Jelly Bean Joe is from Philly, and that's where the family grew up until the age of Kobe was 6. They went to Italy, lived for 8 years, and then came back when Kobe was 14 and attended high school in Philly. And then when he was drafted to the NBA, they moved to California where Kobe bought a mansion. The whole family lived there, the mom and the dad, the sisters, okay, very supportive of him. Jocelyn was even there all the time. And over time, he, sold the mansion and moved his whole family back to Pennsylvania. I think that was a very rookie mistake around Kobe, because now he had no support other than Sophia Lane and Vanessa. So all his influence is heavily them. Okay. Now Kobe said he always spoke highly of his let me go to this next picture. Kobe always spoke highly of his relationship with his father and his mother, and he said that he wanted them he wanted his family to be like their family, but and so he spoke highly. So before this, it was really no beef with, hold on, y'all, I gotta make sure I'm showing y'all the right picture. So it was literally no beef with Kobe Bryant and his family. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull the right pictures up now. I had to email these to myself. Let me see. Okay, so I don't know. See, now my computer's sticky. Okay. I don't know. Okay, it's now my computer's sticky. Hold on. So, okay, we're gonna get back to that when it come back up. Hold on, let me pull it out. So, and I'm gonna pull it back up again. Okay, so I just wanted to show y'all some pictures of the stuff. Now, when we look at this one, let me keep going. This made the relationship between Kobe and his parents estranged for some years. And they went for years being on non-speaking terms. And in 2013, the controversy hit the media when the parents saw his high school memorabilia. And then later they had to release an apology statement. So I can see that the tension was there. It was thick because Kobe literally was taking care of Sophia since day one. And he, was very modest with his own parents after they, moved out the mansion. And of course, that their parents is the one who invested in Kobe and made him who he is. So they didn't respect, nor did they feel like that's what they deserved. So the parents were left out, basically kicked out, and the finesse became so sweet due to the isolation that Kobe basically went through. Okay. So now let's look at this. Basically, with the threats and the forced no prenup, the marriage, and the parents removed, Sophia continued to exhibit a lot of greed. Vanessa was complicit, but karma came, and Sophia Lane lavish life came to an end. And she was crying with all these fake tears on Telemundo, saying she's suing Vanessa Bryant for what she was suing him for. $100 an hour, saying she was a nanny and a personal assistant for 12 hours a day for 20 years. Now, remember, at this time, she is still receiving alimony from her Stephen, even though they divorced, she's still receiving alimony from the what's the name? From Stephen Lang. Okay, the $1,800. So she just got to get it how she get it. Kobe was sheltered and green with no game. Let's keep going. Now let's go to more about the family. Kobe Bryant grew up under Jelly Bean Joe, who was a masculine heterosexual provider. You know, he was from Philly. He always provided for his family, which was his 3 kids and a wife. Kobe's 2 sisters, Sharia and Shia, they were all born in Philly. They were his biggest cheerleaders. Kobe grew up in Philly until the age of 6, where they moved to Italy. The reason they moved to Italy is because Jelly Bean Joe was he was playing pro ball, and this will be some picture. He was playing pro ball in Italy for 8 years, and he took that's a picture right here of Kobe and his 2 sisters. He took his that's interviews on him and Bryant. Okay, this is when they were so-called getting divorced, but it never happened. This is his interview with Byron Allen. This is what I'm saying. This is the investment that Jelly Bean Joe was putting in Kobe Bryant, like serious investment, and he had connected. Jelly Bean Joe himself was in the NBA, okay, for some time, and then he went on to be like an NBA coach or WNBA. I didn't look up specifically the source for that, but he was a coach, so he really knew connections and contacts, and he knew the basketball game. And that's why this is Kobe in his interview with Byron Allen, like 17 years old. So his father made him a big deal before social media. Remember, it's no social media at this time in the 90s, but he made sure that Kobe was in the spotlight for things, and he knew how to usher his son into doing what he was doing. Okay, thank you, C. Thank you, C. C said WNBA coach. I thought so. I know it was NBA, WNBA. I didn't get the exact source for that. Okay, but thank you. He was. So his father knew the game. Period. Pam and Jelly Bean Joe knew the game. Okay, it was Kobe who didn't know nothing. All right, now let's keep going. The whole family was fluent in Italian. Okay, so this is to show you the type of masculine provider Jelly Bean Joe was. And Kobe's name is Kobe Bean Bryant. So this is how official Jelly Bean Joe was. Like, people knew him. He was known. He coached Little League. He coached. His whole life was basketball. Yeah, and he said for the LA Sparks. Thank you, C. Thank you so much for that. So, I mean, Kobe was primed from a young boy to be in the NBA. He was the first player ever, the youngest to go from high school to the NBA. He was the youngest player ever in the NBA at the time, and he was the youngest player ever to play in the NBA All-Star game. Okay, this is our research. I didn't know none of this. I just knew he was the youngest to go to the NBA. Okay, so he was literally the first one. Nobody had went to the NBA straight from high school before Kobe Bryant, so that was like a big deal. Okay, let me see. At age, yes, honey, thank you for the support. Thank you for the support. Now, at age 14, Kobe returned to Philly, started high school. He was drafted to the NBA in 1996. He started with the Charlotte Hornets first, and then Jelly Bean Joe worked it out that he started with the Hornets, and Jelly Bean Joe worked it out that he was drafted onto the Lakers. He knew that the Lakers was the better fit. That's what Phil Jackson was, and he wanted him to be coached under Phil Jackson. So he broke his butt to get Kobe to the Lakers. Jelly Bean Joe was so instrumental in who we know as to be Kobe Bryant. This is why I just don't care for Vanessa Bryant being okay for that bond to be broken when she know Kobe was a seriously family-oriented child. That's all he knew was family. That's all literally he knew. Family, basketball, some high school, some Italian. I mean, he didn't know a lot. Okay, Kobe was socially awkward. Okay, the Lakers said that he was trouble making friends with them to get along with his teammates. He clashed with Shaquille O'Neal a lot. You know, they just didn't see eye to eye when he first went to the Lakers, but eventually, you know, it got better. And he said that Kobe Bryant still didn't have no support fully of his family. His mom literally did all his laundry, cooked all his meals, kept him on schedule, and she never missed a game. And that's according to Newsweek. His father was laser focused on building his lucrative career, landing Kobe an awesome agent, which we all know was awesome because Kobe Bryant's entire career was just awesome. Like he never had real low points other than just his personal awkwardness that he had to come out of. Other than that, but professionally, Jelly Bean Joe was the man, period. Okay. He even got a Adidas deal endorsement while he was still in high school. Interviews with, Byron Allen, and he also was able to go on prom with Brandy. So, and Jelly Bean Joe orchestrated all of that. Jelly Bean Joe orchestrated all of that. Let me see. That was on the other picture, the Brandy one. Okay, let me see. Let me go to Brandy. So next is this. Okay, so this member all before social media. So he in his interview right here, Kobe told Byron Allen that he wanted to raise and have a family just like his mom and dad and sisters raised him. He was strong. He spoke highly of them all the time, and he knew that everything that he had came from his family. Jocelyn, the girlfriend, said everything in the Bryant household focused around Kobe. He was like a king. Brandy, and this was when Brandy and Vanessa, when Brandy had to accept that Vanessa was going on prom. Brandy was going on prom with Kobe. She understood. Kobe's mother told her, his family said, look, baby, it's his career first and y'all relationship second. Jocelyn understood, okay, to be with him, I'm in love with him. That's just what it is, okay? So her family was very close to the Bryant family also, and they approved of the relationship, but they didn't approve of their relationship with Vanessa Bryant. So it hurt her heart, that he had to do more of a celebrity experience with Brandy and then go on prom because she really wanted to go on prom. She was really in love with Kobe Bryant. And still to this day, she has a relationship with Shawnee O'Neal and Evelyn Gonzalez. Okay, so Brandy and Kobe met very brief at the Essence magazine, and she didn't know who he was, Brandy, but she loved the idea to go to prom because remember, Brandy herself was in hit TV shows, platinum albums. So she, and just like Ray J, was in the limelight from young, so they didn't do a lot of everyday things that children did in high school. The whole prom was filmed and set up by the family. The whole send-off, Jelly Bean Joe, of course, orchestrated this. And Kobe skipped from college to go to the NBA. And Jocelyn said Kobe was very smart. He was an honor student the whole time in high school, and he also was scoring like a 1080 on his SAT. Now, after the move to California, Kobe and Brandy never got serious. They just never was into each other. It was just more just like a media thing, but they still remain friends. Kobe was a kid like teenager amongst grown men in a competitive game of basketball, and his parents were very involved and practice. They were very protective of him. He rarely socialized with his Lakers teammates, and they said Kobe was so sheltered that he literally, now he's in the NBA, but he's still watching movies like Willy Wonka, Chocolate Factory that his mom would put in his bag when he packed for his games. And so Kobe was not allowed to watch rated R movies, anything overly sexual, graphic, negative, violent, or graphic. He was just not able. So he didn't watch movies like Scarface and The Godfather until he was in the NBA. This is how sheltered he was, okay? So he was just socially awkward. Now, let me keep going. I'm almost done. This in the rookie year, he missed a last shot in the game. Like it was the last game. It wasn't the last shot in the game, but it was the last game. He shot an air ball, and he kept saying he felt so bad about it. And the teammates really gonna hate me now. I let them down. So he was like stressing out over this. His girlfriend said that is when Kobe decided that every practice he's going to shoot 1,000 shots, and he started lifting weights to build muscle. So at his 19th birthday party, he invited all his teammates and their wives to make amends with them because he felt like he owed them an apology. Now, this is where Jocelyn, met Shawnee O'Neal, and they still friends. So we got to look at this. Kobe Bryant knew nothing really about the streets in the world, but he was very family oriented and no real worldly exposure. So this is why the finesse was really easy to kind of pull off on Kobe Bryant. Okay. I'm gonna bring Madison Downs in. We're gonna watch Madison. I'm gonna bring you in, and then I'm gonna watch this video though with we're gonna watch her. We're gonna watch some of her Madison, let me check your audio. Let me make sure you good.
1 2 1 2.
Yes. Welcome, Madison Downs. I'm gonna give y'all his intro in 1 minute, but what we're about to do right now is watch the video of Vanessa Bryant NBA speech, and we're gonna watch her speech, and I'm gonna just show how it just cringe. It was cringe-worthy to me. She just showed how Kobe was a sucker. I'm sorry. That's just what she did. Okay, we're gonna watch this, and I come back with my commentary and introduce you to the awesome Madison Downs. Okay, as soon as I find the video, hold on. I'm opening the video, but okay, is it playing? Okay, it's playing. Yes, he did lack street smarts. No street smart. He ain't know nothing about the finessing
of a role model involved is dear friend Michael Jordan. Please welcome Vanessa Bryant.
I'm okay.
That was so fake. I'm okay.
Last February, I called Michael and asked him if he would introduce Kobe tonight, and he graciously accepted. Thank you for being here, Michael. We admire you. This means so much to us.
It's breaking up, you know.
Hold on.
Yeah, I can hear it.
I used to always avoid praising my husband in public because I felt like he got enough praise from his fans around the world, and someone had to bring him back to reality. Right now, I'm sure he's laughing in heaven because I'm about to praise him in public for his accomplishments on one of the most public stages. I can see him now, arms folded, with a huge grin, saying, "Isn't this some shit?" He's still winning. I wish my husband was here to accept this incredible award. He and Gigi deserve to be here to witness this. Gigi would be so proud to watch her daddy get enshrined into the Basketball Hall of Fame. I know Kobe's really looking forward to being here. He asked the Hall of Fame to specifically add a 6th ticket for Capri. He was so happy. He didn't really talk about upcoming awards, but he did mention this one a week before he and Gigi passed. My husband and I were sitting at our kitchen island, and he and I had a conversation about my mother and father-in-law attending tonight's enshrinement. I invited my mother and father-in-law to tonight's enshrinement to thank them for bringing one of the most amazing human beings into this world. Pam and Joe, thank you for raising Kobe to be exceptional. Thank you to all of Kobe's family Sharia, you've gone above and beyond. I love you. There will never be anyone like Kobe. Kobe was one of a kind. He was special. He was humble. Off the court, but bigger than life. To all of our close friends and family that have been present for my girls and I.
I'm gonna fast forward because I just wanted the most important part you heard, and then I just want y'all to hear this end part, and then we're gonna move on.
4 a.m. to train, for making it home to kiss me good morning, and for dropping our girls off at school, only to go to practice, come home and pick up our girls from school whenever you could. Thank you for never missing a birthday, a dance recital, a school award show and tell, or any games our daughters played in if your schedule permitted. Thank you for putting your love for our family first. Thank you for bringing so much joy to our lives and joy to the people around the world. Thank you for inspiring us to be better than we were the day before. Thank you for teaching me and all of us to put someone else's joy before our own. Thank you for being so selfless and loving with a heart of gold. Thank you for never taking yourself too seriously. Thank you for your sense of humor. Thank you for your wit. Thank you for never telling me no and always letting me have my way most of the time. Thank you for being patient and easygoing. Thank you for letting me burst your bubble every chance I got. Thank you for graciously taking all my harsh comebacks. Thank you for dishing them back. Thank you for being the Mickey to my Minnie and the Noah to my Allie. Thank you for loving me enough to last lifetimes. And every lifetime, I choose you. To our girls, Natalia and Gianna, thank you for sacrificing so much time away from Daddy so that he could focus on being the best at everything he set his mind to do. Bianca and Capri, I'm so happy you're here to see this tonight. Daddy was incredible. He loves you girls so very much. Congratulations, baby. All of your hard work and sacrifices paid off. You once told me, if you're going to bet on someone, bet on yourself. I'm glad you bet on yourself, you achiever. You did it. You're in the Hall of Fame now. You're a true champ. You're not just an MVP. You're an all-time great. I'm so proud of you. I love you forever and always. Kobe Bean Bryant.
Okay. So I'm gonna just highlight it, and I'm gonna introduce Madison. This is you heard most the speech she did. She didn't cry. I just don't think she was. I just don't think she was sold out for Kobe for real. She was really in it for finesse. It showed in this. It showed in the wedding, and it showed at the Hall of Fame. I mean, it showed when he passed, and the parents weren't able to speak or anything. They weren't there. They weren't on the side of the stage with her. She had only Michael Jordan, which is great. But you wouldn't even know who Kobe Bryant was if it weren't for his parents. And just the fact how she continued to allow this, when I know Vanessa Bryant had more control over the situation, than she's trying to portray. And then she literally addressed the parents by name, Pam and Joe. It wasn't like Mama Pam, Dad Joe, Papa Joe, you know I love y'all. They should have been right there, and they were at the funeral. So it's like crazy how they were played. And let me look at this. The first sentence she said was that she never praised him in public. And he's saying right now, looking down from heaven, saying, ain't this some shit? Because that's what she's doing right now. But now look at this, as his wife. How could you never praise him in public? What was so with that? So basically, she did making Kobe feel validated when he was already socially awkward, wasn't accepted by his teammates, for real, his friend, nobody accepted the relationship. This is why I'm saying she was compliant, and it was just a finesse the whole time. Okay, I'm not mad that she got with a man that means. It's just I don't care for how she did it. It was really low blow to me. It was really a product of her mother. Okay, Pam and Joe was so vital. They should have been in her life too, and their grandkids. Like they were, it was times where you would see years that they were never at the games, and that it was times when they were, doing all that before Vanessa got in trouble. So so when she say even people doubted him and all that, and he had to prove it wrong, who doubted Kobe Bryant? Because the minute everybody knew of Kobe Bryant, he was awesome. He was a little Michael Jordan from day one. So it's just like, who you taking shots at with that? To me, it was like she was trying to get back at the parents. Like, look at me now, y'all. I'm still up here, y'all back in the background somewhere where y'all been the whole time. So just her. Just when you look at the awesomeness of Kobe and look at the reflection of his wife, I just don't think she was a great reflection of him, and it shows throughout their relationship. His commitment to people and his children and family was awesome, but it's just like Vanessa never epitomized what that was like for Kobe. And then at the end of the speech, she basically said, Kobe, thank you for letting me know, letting me have my way most of the time. Let me burst and all my harsh comebacks, and you dish them back too, you overachiever. That's just it's like that's just I don't think that even needed to be said, and it just showed how Kobe was simping. Okay, like if you give a woman everything she wanted, she hasn't earned it, she can't respect it, and this is why Sophia Lane is suing her right now, because she felt she should have more. Okay, but let's hear from the man. That's my opinion. Let's hear from the man. We have here Madison Downs today. He has 2 children, 2 daughters. He has been married for 24 years. He has the same mother of his children. He's 45 years of age. His children are college. One is a college graduate. One is a high school graduate. The oldest is currently working on her master's. The younger one attends George Mason. And Madison is an educator, a math teacher, a college professor of theology, and he's a former military retired officer. And he currently is running for a congressional 3rd seat in Congress. So welcome, Madison Downs.
Thank you for having me. How you doing, Elle?
Let me take her off this screen. Please, Madison, please share with us. Give us your masculine point of view about. Just tell me, why do you think, as a man, you've been a provider, you've been married 24 years, only being 45? That's like more than half your life, is it? Yeah. So just tell us how you have been able to be a provider and a leader to your wife, your children, without making any excuses.
Sorry about that.
And how you've been just successful in doing that, and then we could kind of get into your thoughts about Kobe and Vanessa. But just tell us how you, as a masculine heterosexual provider, was doing that with no excuses for 24 years or probably even more, because that's just your married time.
Yeah, I think for me, when I was younger, I was kind of abandoned, you know what I mean, by my family. And that's only because my family went through some hardships, But I just know that I remember how the family used to be, and how everybody was real tight, and family, how much it meant to me. And I knew that for me, I did not want to be the type of man that was, just out there playing around. I wanted to be a difference maker, not only in my family's lives, but also I wanted to be an example, to others. So, I decided that I wanted to walk the walk rather than just, talk the talk. I got married early. What I did in my situation was, when I knew that I had decided that I wanted to be with one woman. Quite literally, what I did was I took a sheet of paper, right, and
Nice.
I wrote down the things that I wanted in a wife. I mean, from her hair to her complexion to personality to anything and everything that I could think of. And then I prayed over that and I fasted. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, I met my wife, and I think within, I think Kobe, what was that, a year? So for me, I think it was about 6 months, and we were married, and the rest is history. And since then, obviously, I worked my butt off to make sure that I was able to provide. Now, we got married young, so what that meant for me, being the husband and the head of the household, was she had aspirations as well. We were both young. I was in the Marine Corps. I knew I wasn't going to stay in the Marine Corps. I knew I wanted to get some college. I also wanted to do some other things, and that included playing football and all those other things. But I had my family, what I did was, whenever I went to school, when I got out the Marine Corps and I, got scholarships, I made sure that they took care of her. And so she was able to go to school. So I was making sure that she was able to fulfill her academic and professional goals. And actually now, let's see, she's got 2 master's degrees. She's a counselor, my wife. She was a teacher for a number of years, school counselor and LPC. So I think that she's been able to pretty much fulfill any and everything that she's wanted, So, but that was a part of my responsibility, was to make sure that, it's a sacrifice for both of us, but I didn't really look at the sacrifice on my end as much as I looked at her sacrifice for saying, yes, I do, or I will. And so that was my responsibility to make sure that she didn't want for anything. And she doesn't, she doesn't want for anything. So, and neither do the kids. So I guess they're not kids anymore, but they'll always be my babies.
Yeah, they're going to always be. I know that's right.
Yeah. So I guess that's the long and the short of it. I don't know if I answered all your questions.
No, you did, just because you explained, but being a provider without an excuse and everything. That's what we just needed to hear. Because my point of having you here, Jarome here, and also Nashoba, is the extension from last week, as I got this idea from you being on a show impromptu a couple weeks ago. And how many men came on the show? That was just such a masculine show, and y'all know I love the men. So I was like, this is like genius to let me keep doing. Let me showcase men and show that masculine heterosexual men are out here. They're providing. They are in the world. They are everywhere. They right next door to you, but you don't hear them, with loud voices because the internet right now is really, effeminate men or gay and everybody alphabet, LBGQHIMPQ, all that. So it's like, no, we have men who are providers, have nuclear families and been here. So, I mean, you're literally a living example of a man been married, more than half his life with the same wife. So we know that monogamy works, the nuclear family can work if that's the goal. So this is, I definitely support the nuclear traditional family. So I thank you for.
What's interesting is I'm moving around because I think during the wait my battery went down. I was going to drive it.
I'm sorry. That's me all day. I'm sorry.
That's all good. What's interesting is that I can remember when I was a young Marine and I decided I was going to get married. I had some close friends who also decided that they were going to, I guess they saw us, they saw my relationship, and then they ended up deciding to get married. And they're still married to today.
Yeah.
So, a lot of I think successful marriages, just like anything else, has a lot to do with who you surround yourself with.
Correct.
I think if you are a married man and a lot of your friends remain single, I think that could potentially cause problems. Because the goals would be the same.
Yeah, they missing each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other piece to that is to be a man and to be a head of household means that you must be a leader.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are some beta males out there who have successful marriages.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Maybe that's the way that their relationship is set up. But for the most part, I think that a lot of these divorces and things of that nature are taking place because you have too many beta males who look at the idea of what marriage is or what it could be or what it should be, but they're not built. They have not been developed, or they didn't do enough to develop themselves to the point to where they could be the leader that they should be in order to weather the storms that come along with being a man.
Absolutely. Well said, Madison. I agree. Last week on the show, my dad was here. We had 5 gentlemen. I didn't do 5 today because I knew my presentation was going to be longer. But it's the same thing they said, man. Literally, masculinity, heterosexuality, provider, traditional nuclear family men are becoming very rare, cut from another cloth. So I just thank you for coming on here today. You. I was late with my thing. I was having connected.
I just didn't want to.
It's not connected. I'm like, wait. And then my pictures, I had to email them. It wasn't backing up. I'm like, what is going on? My backup stopped yesterday. I don't know why. So I was trying to figure a couple things out. But thank you so much for coming. If you had anything in closing, because I promised to keep these interviews to 15 minutes. But definitely after I interview the last one, which is going to be Jarome in the show, you definitely could chime in. I even bring you back on the stream. But, I'm going to get everybody that 15 minutes of glory. So if you had anything in closing, please share.
Pertaining to marriage or
men being the man, Kobe and Vanessa, anything that you feel like is vital for the listeners to know, men to know, young boys to know, just anything you want to get out to the people.
Yeah, one of the things that I've done a lot of as a military chaplain is counsel couples, and it's sad when you see that one half of the unit, whether it be the male or the female, takes advantage of the other half. Because it takes 2 to tango.
Yeah.
So one of the main things I would say is, whatever the foundation, you have to find a foundation, some sort of a foundation. For me, the foundation obviously was God. All right. And so there are times throughout marriage, no marriage is perfect. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside. You're going to go through your ups and downs. You're going to have your arguments. You're going to have drag outs. those things happen in marriages.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is, will you be able to, if all else fails, fall back on the foundation that was established at the very beginning, and be able to communicate and talk that thing out, even if you gotta take a break, but always be able to communicate and talk that thing out.
Correct.
Communication is the key for a whole lot of things.
Everything for life. Yes,
Yeah.
for life.
And a lot of people, they get upset, especially nowadays, because we live in the fast food industry. Everybody wants everything right now, and that's just not the way things happen. Some things take time, and some things, you just gotta develop them and let them develop. So it takes patience, it takes perseverance, and just stick with it.
Completely. Please share your website. You're gonna be running for you still
Sure.
running for the congressional third seat. So share that information and how people can connect with you there.
Sure. It's MadisonDowns4Congress.com, and that's my webpage. We're going to be doing some upgrading to it because we're going to be adding quite a few things. But the gist of everything is still on the webpage. Or you can go to Madison for Hampton Roads on Facebook. And there's also a Twitter, Madison for Hampton Roads. And all of those are up and running. We are accepting contributions and donations toward the campaign. Period. And we are, and I say we because Levita is a part of my team. But I also say we because we are the most unique. I would have to call myself a politician now, but politicians and candidates to date. Because we are 100% for the people.
Correct.
And it is community based. So insofar as how we run, the needs that need to be met, we do not kowtow to any party. And we are in it to do what is important for the people, not for the parties.
Correct. Correct.
So that's something that people will learn more and more about as we get out and we get to meet people and have more meet and greets and other events. But please feel free to go to that webpage and learn. And if you want to talk to me, my number's up there and we can set up something, or you can get a hold of Miss Levita and she'll set it up.
Yes. Yes, please. And we're gonna do more lives with Madison Downs himself, so you can get to know him more as a candidate and things like that. Ask him some questions, see what his campaign is doing and what's his position is. So you'll be hearing much more from Madison Downs. Thank you, Madison Downs. 24 years married with 2 daughters of the same mother. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. All right, peace. Okay. Now we will introduce the Jarome, Mr. Jarome. Let me introduce him. Thank you, Mr. Jarome, for being patient with me, Mr. Bell. I apologize. I know I'm about 15, 20 minutes behind everything with everybody.
I know how you roll, Vita. I ain't mad. I've been just sitting here, checking out Madison. And, Madison, actually, I think this was the first time Madison actually said publicly that he was running for office again. I appreciate that. I love to hear that. So now he can get the rolling, doing the things that he needs to do in District 3.
Yeah. Let me introduce Jarome. Mr. Jarome has 3 sons, of the same mother. He has been married 25 years. His age is 54. He's also a retired Navy officer. He is a business owner of a company that helps student athletes get scholarships. He's also a realtor. His oldest son is now a doctor. His middle son is an HVAC tech, and his youngest son is a musical theater performer. And Jarome is also running for his congressional seat, the 2022 in District 2. So welcome, Jarome Bell.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I got to correct just a little bit. I'm a retired Navy chief petty officer, not an officer. So that's okay, though.
That's a difference. Okay,
There's a big difference. Yeah, a big difference. One is enlisted greatness and one is a commissioned officer.
All Okay. I still don't know what the different commission mean. What about?
I know. It's all good. It's all good. You know, but
Yeah.
for people listening to your show, you know, that, you know, some people would take offense to that, you know, so you definitely got to make the correction for you.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So please now, of course you have 3 sons, been married 25 years. That's huge. You and Madison got whole stints in this. Whole stints in this.
Lifetime.
So,
Lifetime sentence.
yeah. So tell us, like, how were you able to be a provider, to be a father, a leader of your house, and stay heterosexual and keep your family unit, together? Can you just break that down, how that happened?
Well, it's just the way my dad pretty much, brought me up. I look at my dad. My dad was always there for me, and I know, growing up, you can see, sometimes when your parents have hard times, if they're fussing, fighting every once in a while, they didn't do it, in front of the kids a lot, but every once in a while, you catch an argument. But just growing up and, being married for 25 years, it's definitely a test,
Yeah.
Raising kids is a test, and both parents have to be on one accord with raising kids. That's major, because if one parent thinks one way and another parent thinks another way, it causes conflict, in the family, of course. And so, and I think that role, it comes from the man. It comes from the leadership role, with the man. And if the woman is on board with that, then that just makes it all the better, and it makes it easier, especially when you're raising 3 boys, because boys are easier than girls to raise, but raising 3 Black men in America, is tough, because there's a lot of external factors that can come into play, that can take away, a kid's attention from what you're trying to teach them, the streets, their friends and things like that, And so we had boundaries and we had rules for our kids. And one of the major things that we taught our kids is you can't do everything your friends may be able to do. That's not our rules. You live in the Bell house. You don't live in the Johnson house around the corner, and it used to be a lot easier, because, in our communities, our communities, we all were pretty much raised the same, back when I was growing up, because I remember, my dad, telling, our neighbors, the men around the neighborhood, if you ever see Jarome do anything wrong, beat his butt, then bring him home to me, because we had the same values. There was a traditional family. There was that village raised a child mentality in our neighborhood. We watched out for everybody's kids, all the parents watched out for each other's kids. And and they scolded them if they saw them doing something wrong. You don't see that today, because these parents today and this generation of today is like, you can't talk to my kid like that, and stuff like that. And so and that's part of the downfall, in our communities, because people don't allow other adults to help raise their kids. And you need that. We was fortunate that where I grew up, my mother's, all of her brothers and sisters moved. They totally migrated to Cleveland, Ohio, where we, grew up at. And my dad's family was down in Alabama. So we would go down there, and see them. But there wasn't one weekend. And I'm serious. When I mean not one weekend, there was not one weekend when we didn't either see our cousins, some of our cousins, maybe not all of them, or spend the night over their house, or they would come to spend the night over your house, and there was this big family, you felt like family, some of my aunts maybe didn't, I'm trying to think, wow, all of them, maybe one or two or something like that, maybe didn't have men in their lives because their husbands died, or something like that. But we were all there for each other, because I remember, my dad used to take my cousins fishing, and things like that. We did things with each other. We fished, we hunted. I never forget the first time my cousin came fishing with us. He fell his ass in the lake. It was funny.
Oh.
But it was there, and so we were always there for each other. I remember some of my cousins, their parents got sick and they came and lived with us for a little while, while the parents recuperate. But that's what family is about. We don't have that in the Black communities anymore. We're too, we're spread apart. We're too busy doing our own thing, and so but raising my boys, it was a testament to my dad. I raised them the way I was raised. I wasn't allowed to have any excuses in anything. I cannot use the word can't. There was that was not in our household. The word cannot and can't do something is not in our household, and that's the way I raised my boys as well.
Yeah.
That's probably a testament to why my oldest son was valedictorian in his high school. He went on. He's a doctor now. My middle son, which proves that college isn't for everybody, but you can work with your hands and you can do other things. He's an HVAC technician, so he has a lifelong skill that he can take care of himself with. And my youngest son, proves that you can go a different way with. You don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to be a technician, you don't have to be an athlete, but he's a musical theater performer. He he does that, and he's been working since he's been in college. He just graduated officially in May. He walked in May, but he graduated in December. But he's been working in his profession for the last 3 years. But it just comes. It's so it's all of that. And the big thing is this to Levita, is that you have to there's no barriers. Okay. There's no barriers in anything that you want to do. I get sick of people talking about the white man is holding us down. Some shit from 400 years ago called slavery is keeping us down from doing what we, can do. Just all of this nonsense to where, what does that have to do today? Because you ain't never been a slave. Your mama ain't never been a slave. Your granddaddy ain't never been a slave. And maybe some of your great granddaddies mamas ain't never been a slave. But the fact of the matter is that what you do today or what happened, just yesterday has no bearing on what you can do and do today, and so and that's what we instilled in our boys. As far as being a provider, I was in the Navy for 27 years. I retired. That was a choice that I made. And I was away sometimes from my boys. Okay, and my wife had to take that upon herself and raise the boys. But when we had understanding of how they were going to be raised, took on that, in the absence. I was not gone for like months and months at a time, unfortunately, like some people are. But you have to have that understanding of how it's going to be.
Absolutely.
And I think that comes from the man. I know, Madison mentioned about beta men, and things like that. Well, yeah, they could have successful families, but you have to be an alpha male in this society, I think, and especially in a household. And you have to have an alpha female too. There's nothing wrong with, two alphas, but you have to understand roles. You have to understand positions. You have to understand, what goes on, in the household, of the provider, of the nurturer, things like of the protector, and now people don't understand that. I don't know if they don't understand it. They just don't. I don't know if they don't believe in it, but you see it all the time. I watched a video today. It was from a while ago. It was probably from the 70s, I think, to where it started back when women, stopped thinking that they didn't need men in their lives to help raise their kids. That's like the worst thing that could ever happen. The worst thing that could ever happen to America was the age of feminism. And that's not being a bigot. That's not being a, misogynist or whatever they want to call it. That's a new word, that they bring out to try to denigrate alpha men. But you see the detriment it has had in our communities and in our neighborhoods of women that believe, and men that don't want to take care of their kids. It's not just the women, but it's men that don't want to take care of their kids, and that's is one of the big detriments in the Black community. I'm proud of my boys. I'm always going to be there for them, and we had rules. We had boundaries, you know, so it's just a lot that come into, you know, raising kids and being a provider and women understanding their roles. And it has nothing to do with being weak. It has nothing to do with being submissive. You know, if you want to call it that, it's just understanding that there has to be roles and there has to be understanding in the house of who's in charge, you know, and basically in a hierarchy, you know, two people can't be in charge. You know, when there's people in charge, it cause problems, you know, all the time, you know, and so, you know, so I believe that, you know, it's worked well, you know, in my household because my wife, she's an alpha female, you know, and you know, and I understand that, and she understands that I'm an alpha male too. So, I mean, and my boys are, you know, they grew up like that, and they understood, and they see the structure. You know, that's the thing. When kids see structure in the household, when kids see the roles played in the household and how, you know, it should be, you know, I think they fare out a whole lot better in life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree a lot of what you said. It's all about really defining the roles. And I like how you said that the word can't. That's how my dad raised me. He was on last week. You cannot say the word can't. You really got in trouble for not thinking something through than so much what you actually done. He always, you know, I just see masculine man keeps the thinking in check, which is part of structure, boundaries, standards, you know, values, morals, things like that. So just how household is ran. And also with what you're saying, even if a female is strong-willed and strong-minded and has some independence, she has to understand that a family unit must have a man. It cannot be just her. So the fact that you and your wife can work together over 25 years shows that, I mean, I don't know why we think submissive is such a horrible word, because that's what a woman should be to her man. When he's the leader, she should be supportive and in service to him and help him cultivate everything, just like Pam Bryant did. You know, the dad, Jelly Bean Joe, was, you know, masculine, providing, getting everything done for Kobe, but Pam was still holding down the house and washing the clothes. And you know, her role was just as vital, but she never, you know, was her goal would never be to step over him or diminish his value. And we just have to understand there's nothing wrong with a woman being feminine and submissive. Like, honey, that raises the value. Okay, all this boss bitch and we don't need them. We got to drop those mentalities. Okay, so that's how it is. But I just had to show the people, like Miss Annie said right here, a home needs structure. It does. I just had to show the people that masculine men exist. They run households. They've been married for years. And I know that you, I, and Madison, plus with Don, do your show, the Radical Republicans. But I don't know if, you know, people ever really know the in-depthness of things like, you know, the successfulness of your children, you being a proud father, you know, who they are today. And that is based off your sacrifice and commitment and investment in them and in your family to do that. And, you know, able to lead the women and the children and have them follow you, trust you. And, you know, and now today, you know, when you was doing your 27 years, but this is the result of that today. So
thank you. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Because people really need to see this. You know, it's masculine men. They are everywhere. People, they are on your blog. Look around your neighborhood. I guarantee you're going to see masculine heterosexual men. Everybody is not in this effeminate movement. Okay.
Right.
Everybody is not. So, Jarome, definitely, if you want to share things about, you know, your run for Congress and how people can contact you for that, please share that.
Yeah, well, I'm running for Congress again in Virginia's 2nd district. This is my second time coming up. First time we did well. Second time we're going to go over the top and we're going to win this. You can help the cause by donating if you want to Jarome Bell, and that's JaromeBellFor Congress, Jarome Bell for Congress.com. That's my website. My platform is up there. My issues are up there. And it hasn't changed because my platforms, my issues never really changed because, we still have the same issues. And those are what I believe in. You can reach me on Twitter as long as they don't ban me again. And it's at Jarome Bell VA. My Facebook page. I tend to do lives and we do live streams. And, when I'm not banned,
Right.
That's Jarome Bell for Virginia. And I'm on Gab at Jarome Bell. And I'm on Instagram at Jarome Bell for Congress. So I'm out there, just doing the thing. And, here's the one thing that, I want everyone to understand, because, especially a lot of people of color, feel that when a black or person of color run as a Republican, run as a conservative, that we're sellouts, we're all of this stuff. My thing is this. I'm a congressman for all people, and and me being a person of color, black, melanated, indigenous, aboriginal, whatever you want to call us, is that I'm always going to look out for my people. Just like a white person, I would expect them to look out for their people. Asian, I would expect them to look out for their people. Korean, I would expect them. Filipino, Latino, I would expect them to look out for their people. Because if you can't look out for your people, how the hell can I trust you to look out for me? And that's the bottom line in that. So, for some people to say, because I know people say, oh, well, where you running on, black concepts and so that. I know it's not even about that. It's about taking care of everyone. It's about taking care of my people, taking care of your people. It's about taking care of Americans, America first, and getting this country back on track, I mean, I was just, brother was just, hit me on my cousin's page about Trump. I'm like, man, anyway, I ain't gonna get in that right now because it's not that show. But you can donate. You can reach out to me. You can volunteer to work my campaign. I just came from DC. I was up in DC. I was at Kim Klasik's event last night, so we had a good event.
Nice.
But yeah, look me up. That's who I am, and come out and support, and let's win this thing in 2022.
Absolutely. And if Jarome Bell, thank you again for coming and doing this interview with me today to let the people see that masculine heterosexual men exist. But if it's any additional, advice or, just jewels you want to drop for other men, for even women, for families to promote that which you already are literally living and have lived over 25 years. So if it's anything else you want to give, please give it to the people.
Yeah, the major thing I would say is women, single women, if you have babies, daddies, let those fathers be in them kids' lives. Fathers, if you have baby mamas, be in your kids' lives. You guys don't have to be together. You guys don't even have to, like each other. But, you need to come together for them kids. These kids need daddies. These kids need fathers in their life. We are losing too many kids to the streets. We're losing too many kids to these radicalists. We're losing too many kids' minds to just nonsense. We need to take care of our kids. And that's not just, like I say, black kids. That's everybody. If you're a baby daddy and you ain't in your kid's life, get your ass in your kid's life. If you're a mama and you got baby daddy, get them daddies in them kids' lives, and because it's more than just being in their life. It's a health issue. Okay. It's really a health issue. When you dig down really, really deep inside. Yeah. It's a mental health issue for kids not to be involved with their fathers. So I'll just leave that right there.
Absolutely. And man, now you saying I'm a segue into depressions and all that, because I did some shows on that. But definitely a man is needed. There's no time ever a man is not needed. He is vital. And I hate to say it, ladies, but I'm sorry. If a child had to be with one of the parents, the man is actually the better parent due to the insufficiencies biologically. That is, if the man is not passing that on to the child will be biologically insufficient, and it will show up in multiple areas of their lives. Much of that is what we're seeing today. I'm sorry. The truth is the truth. If you're going to be mad at me, we got to call in right after this. You can, whatever. We could argue science, because that's what I'm doing. It's not personal. It's just facts. It's just what it is. Okay. Single mothers are not best because simply high estrogen levels are toxic, not only for women, but definitely for men. Okay. Let's talk. Low testosterone is a global epidemic. And that's what we combat on this show often, okay? And who can remedy that? Men, masculinity, okay? That's what masculinity. I'm champion for masculinity.
Hoorah.
But thank you, Jarome Bell.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate you, Vita.
Absolutely. I mean to hold you how you in that backstage for 15 minutes. I don't even know how long.
You good. You good. I was checking in. I always like to hear my boy Madison talk. So, and so, yeah. But like I said, I appreciate it. And it's a good show and it's good topics. And just keep doing what you do on your show.
Yeah. Absolutely. We're gonna have more to come. I don't know when my last interview is just a little running late, I see, but if we don't get that one in, we just gonna open the lines up for people that want to come on in and chime in, because we have that every week also. But thank you so much, Jarome. I won't hold up your time.
You good. I hang out backstage a little bit, on this call in just in case if anybody got any questions.
Okay, well, I'll bring you back in. I'll pop you back in after my last interview if that go on. I'm hoping. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So if you want the call-in code, please let me know in the chat. I will send it to you. I do not mind. I will have that. I might be having some issues just like last week. Sometimes we have technical issues with people connect, being able to come through stream. I understand. I have it all the time. I'm not tripping. Last week we had it, but the interviews was scheduled a little bit later than what we had. But I can definitely address these comments, and then I got a little bit more to say in reference to even what Jarome said, and then about Vanessa and Kobe Bryant, and also Pam and Joe Jellybean Bryant. So here right here say facts. Thank you, C. Yes, and he even said back then values were instilled in kids. Yes, see, that's what happens. See, when masculine men run a household, values stay in place. It's difficult for a woman to be a provider and a nurturer. It's difficult. She's out of her role, and it's just difficult to do that. Because if you're a provider, then you have to be the enforcer. You have to be the disciplinarian. And then at the same time, you're trying to nurture. And then you still need to take care of yourself and then be all you can to your children. So that's just very stressful and unnatural for a woman to be in the provider role for extensive time. And this is why values and morals and standards and how our community has changed. Now, Jarome said he think feminism is one of the worst things that happened to us. I think integration. That's what I think, because from integration, when we gave up everything, our land, our businesses, and all of that, when we gave that up, that's when we lost the family, because we lost our land. So we ended up being in no man's land. And now we're begging people to accept us and please take it. And we're still in that type of mentality. And that's no good. Okay. So we have to understand, make our own, create our own. And that's what masculine men do. They make and create their own. If a lane is, like Jarome said, it shouldn't have no bearing from yesterday to today. If somebody slammed the door and told you, no, go make your own, period. Because at the end of the day, the goal should be that your family succeed. Okay. So we just have to understand what these purposes are, because a man purpose is his family. Okay. And he needs a woman to carry his legacy. Okay, so that's it. And then the woman purpose is a man, because that's the only way legacy can be laid through her. Okay, so we need to understand the woman's purpose is the man's purpose is the family. So when those work in tandem, this is when you get successful. This is how you get 20 and 30-year marriages. This is how you get fruitful children, that where you get proud fathers and proud mothers and proud communities and identities in village and ties to land and a business and things that we should be doing in a healthy manner. Okay. And even when you said the kids has no values, right? They don't. And a lot of that because it's hard for them to be instilled. Okay. So the worst thing was the civil rights, and thank you, DJ Amar, from that. But that's what happened when we integrated. Now we're trying to do civil rights and all that. Why would you give up all your land? I just never understood. I'm sorry, but why would you want to give up all your land, all your businesses, your whole thriving billion-dollar economy that benefited you, your family, your neighbors, your friends, everybody that looked like you was doing something awesome. Why would you want to give that up to go fight and lock arms and beg people to accept you? I just don't get it. Of course, I was not back in 1965, but even today, this mentality, that ideology is still lingering and residual today. We have to understand that begging is not the answer. It's producing, being innovative and inventing things and like that. Okay. But men is who lead in building up societies. Like literally, look at down your block. Who built that? Everything probably in this room, the computer, the light, the table, these glass, a man, the one built it. A man is one who produces and provides resources. Okay. The woman takes them because she's the receiver. She's the incubator, right? He's the inseminator. Okay. He inseminates the sperm and she incubates it and grows it and births it out into harvest of food, a great family life, keeping the kids in line, just the legacy. Okay. If we understand who the woman is to be and who the man is to be, but you need a masculine man, then this is how we can be productive back in our communities and our families. Okay. So I agree right here. The worst thing was that movement, and that's because it followed integration. And we think that that's a great thing. We still think that that's a great thing. Okay. So even as it showed, that wasn't. A democracy is not the answer. Correct, DJ Murray? DJ Murray, I'm about to send you the link. I know he gonna be on next week. DJ Murray's gonna be on next week. But democracy is not the answer, because it's nowhere in the Constitution where it uses the word democracy. Okay, a constitutional republic. A republic is the way. But not only that, we have to understand, if you do not own land and have land, and even as a community, that's the only way that a nation can be built up. So let me say this. Land is what gives identity to a group of people. If you cannot identify and tie yourself to some land, right? If you can't, then you're in no man's land. That's called stateless in law. So that means you're going to be operating under some other man's nation or laws, because you have not established your own. You are not an equal. Okay. It means you are a subject, you slave. And even Jarome say, we want slave. Actually, yes, you are. If you're going under the term black and you are a debtor and you a citizen, at the end of the day, those little words mean slave. So I know y'all know I did a show on this maybe a week or two ago where I had to show that slavery is not how they taught us to be. We think that slave was chains and shackles, and I'm not saying that didn't happen, right? It did, but not like they portray it. What happened was a reclassification through paper and contracts. Okay, so they took your original Aboriginal indigenous rights and heir to land. You got to remember, what's under attack constantly? The land, and your blood, literally. Okay, those two things. So I know in Latin it's called Jus Soli and Jus Soli. So your land and your blood is constantly under attack, because that shows rights and heir to the planet. Okay, not to say that you own the planet, but you are first on the planet, which means original, Aboriginal, Aborigine, okay, indigenous. Okay, so when we have that, that's the only way you build families and build a nation and have a village. Okay. When you call yourself black, you cannot tie yourself to land. It's no flag. You came back with the military. It's just nationless. It's stateless. This is why that's detrimental. So we have to understand law, contracts, and stuff like that. Okay. So when we can understand like that, I know I'm always tying law into things. That's because it's very important. All this is about contracts. When you understand how you contract, it will change your life. And that's what it did for me. And this is why I do this show, to really talk about it and show that, you know, these issues today, they literally all stem from the way that we contract. And the number one way that we contract as a people, as a group, as a collective is under that title Black. And that literally is hurting us. So the minute that we understand why that is not the best thing for us to do and what is better for us to do and how to identify, we could collectively better come together and make change for our families. Okay. But we have to understand family is the key. This is how families was broke up. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm doing everything. I don't know. I'm not sure about my third interview. If that can come through, great. If not, I'm not gonna hold the whole show up for that. If anybody wants to contribute, let me know. I would definitely send you the link and do that. Hold on. I wanted to show one last thing with Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant, I wanted to show y'all this. Let me show. I just wanted y'all to see this because it's very important to me. Okay, familia. Okay, I wanted to show La Familia. When that load up, make sure I get comments. Okay, so this is a picture, so we can see this. This is a picture of Kobe Bryant's family. We're gonna break down right here how when you're, because the separation of family, how close-knit Kobe Bryant was to his family. Look at the investment. And I just had 2 men on here. I would have had 3 to show how a masculine man running a household is the best thing ever, literally, biologically, economically, and then also politically. It is the best thing. It's nothing better than have a masculine man to run a household, because that families, the village, the community, the businesses within it, it supports the economic structure. And then from the economic structure, you can unify with other masculine men and build what? A nation. And from a nation, you become a government. And then from that, you can be equal to any other government, and no one can subjugate you. No one can make you. You don't need to be begging. You could get opportunities and funding and all that, make moves with your own people, like we see in Chinatown and Jewish communities and the Amish. You don't see them begging nobody for nothing. They not lining up in droves to vote for nobody, because they understand I don't need to vote when all I need to do is financially put my money and say, look, come on, like how Jarome and Madison is running for Congress. If we had a pact, this is what I'm saying, this is what I want y'all to understand. This is why we need masculine men. If we had a pact and we can get, I don't know exactly what pact means. I might have to bring Jarome back in and ask him what pact means. I think it's political contributions. I don't know. I got to see. But when you make a pact, which is basically mean legal lobbying, which means it's legal to give a certain amount of money to a campaign. Okay. So let's say we got Madison and Jarome running like they are. And we say, look, go find out who else is down for the people. Because what we want to do is remove immunity from police, or we want to remove, or we just want to keep the police out of our community. They can keep their immunity. We don't care, but we don't want them in our communities policing to a point. We're going to have privatized policing, which means now we are having police in a community that is of our community, not of another community. Okay. And we could keep them accountable and things like that. Now, if we fund Jarome with the money, just like in Chinatown, do you see the police over there? You don't see the police over there. The only time the police over there is when somebody called the police. Okay. And they ain't calling the police because they got their own privatized stuff that they go on and that you're going to have to be an answer to. So this is why I'm telling you, everything stems, I'm telling you, I hate to say it, from a masculine man. Period. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jarome. That's what I'm talking about. Being hold me down. Political Action Committee. And that's when you can legally lobby and give money. Okay. So we actually understood this and not just be focused on the vote. And it's like we only focus on the president. We need to understand Congress is who moving legislation. The president's may sign an executive order. Okay, great. But we got to understand Congress is who allocating funding and all this to things. So we need to realize that Congress is important, especially if you call yourself a U.S. citizen. Mm-hmm. So that great migration we did. Now, and think about slavery. In slavery times, right? It wasn't really slavery. Y'all got to realize this. Them pictures that you saw was us working our own damn land. Okay, every family had about 5 acres. Just think if every family had 5 acres, you not own nobody else's plantation. Okay, when I get up and go to work, I don't own that damn job. I ain't signing my own check. Now, just think if I had my own 5 acres, I would, and I would be having all them kids. That's why people back then, our families was having 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you look now, fertility is at a low. The average woman today has 1 to 2 children, when the average used to be 4 to 5. That's when you had things, okay? When you don't own things, you can't build up. You can't build a family. You can't own and run your community. You can't. Somebody else got to do it. That understand family, okay? If y'all think about it, if y'all look at these CEOs and all these elite family, ain't nobody no single mama and no elite family, okay? It ain't no LGBT running no damn elite family, okay? That's just what it is. I hate to give y'all the truth, okay? It's the truth. It's the truth. The truth is the truth. The truth is the truth. The truth. Okay, y'all on here. Y'all know if y'all been following Lovelyti Jones, Lovelyti got you, and we gonna do it. So let me go here right here. Hassan say 12 to 16 children. Dang, Hassan, I ain't give you the link. Let me send you that link too. If you wanted to come on in, I'm gonna pull Jerome back in if I don't have my. I might have to, I think it's just issues with my third interview. I'm sorry if it do. I will make that up on another time. But next week I got even more men lined up. Okay. We had a lot of children. Okay. So we did, and we understood what, because children, just think of this. Instead of starting your business out where you going to work for somebody, you and your wife knew that y'all had to birth y'all workers because they're going to inherit the land and the house. Okay. Land is the most important thing for any family. And because that's how the family is built, on the land, literally, and continue to build on the land. Okay. This is why it's a constant battle for your land and your blood. Okay. Because he who owns the land owns you. All right. Now right here with, let me send this link. Let me see how to, I got to go back to my StreamYard right here. Okay. Let me get this link. I'm gonna copy and paste this link for everybody. Cause, if I try to do a lot of back screaming, messaging, I might not do the best. So hold on, let me try to put that right here. Let me put that right here. StreamYard. Okay. I hope y'all see it's only showing on HTTP. It's only showing. See, when I put it when I put a comment on it myself, it don't show the Facebook. It only show to the Twitter feed, which is the Periscope thing. Because they doing away with Periscope, but it's Twitter. So if I stream through Periscope, it just go to Twitter after it's done. It don't go live. And then, okay, hold on. Let me do this. So anybody, if you want to call in, you come in through the back. I'm going to pull Jerome back in. I'm going to pull you back in, Jerome, if you hear more you want to talk about. And Madison, too. I know Madison said he still want to contribute. I'm not mad at none of that. StreamYard.com. Hold on. I'm trying to put it. I'm going to hold y'all in the back, man, and pull y'all in. I ain't going to just let everybody just jump in. But we gonna have some order so everybody can be heard. Okay, we ask that you stay with the issue. Let me give y'all a disclosure. Stay with the issue. Don't make personal attacks. Okay, I had to let people know personal attacks ain't what you want to do on here. Okay, because somebody if somebody got to get on you, you gonna get got on. So this don't come for nobody on here. When you do that, they got a right to defend themselves. I believe that. So we gonna use tact. And we're going to leave people characters out of it unless they show you another way, and then you could question their character. But we don't want no attacking going on, because that ain't what's up. Hold on. StreamYard. I'm trying to make sure I'm putting the link on Facebook. EN5447 Y8NH. Okay. If somebody is having trouble with the link, let me know. I'll try to repost it. Okay. Oh, let me bring Jerome back in. I can bring Jerome back in. I'm going to talk about family one more time. Okay, he said, Jackie, how you doing, Miss Jackie? She said, absolutely. Look at the Amish, self-sufficient family. They build it on family. They make their own clothes, shoes, everything. I actually got to see some real Amish, and I stood there and I just watched them. I just studied them all I can. They was practicing polygamy. He had 2 wives, and they had about 3 or 4 children. Okay, he might have had 3 wives. I don't know if that was an older daughter or 3 wives, but
we used to have this thing called in Cleveland. It was what they call a friendly town program, right? And what it was, it took some inner city kids and they went and stayed with like some Amish families, like over the summer, and they learned, how to milk cows and, do the land, so they had these programs, set up with these families, man. I thought that was one of the greatest things. I never got to do it because I was always playing sports, but my sister got to do it. I mean, and that was one of the best experiences in her life. And I think, that was part of what taught her to be able to run the land, because we have land in Alabama. My parents are deceased, but she takes care of the land now, and live down there. And so she does all of that. And I think, that program may have helped her back when she was really young, to be able to do that. And I don't know if we have programs like that anymore. But I mean, that was like something awesome, to be able to do that. So, yeah.
And I bet, like, if we just went to the Amish themselves and say, hey, we would like to bring our children and duplicate this lifestyle. And, we got a couple acres of land. We want to see how y'all, I don't think they would be funny at it because, they got little reality shows and all that. So I don't think that they would. They're very approachable from what I've heard. I have not approached one myself, but.
They are. No, they are, because me and my dad, we used to hunt on their land and stuff, because, they always owned land, and we would go and they would let us hunt on there and everything. So it was cool. Amish are good people.
Yeah. So that's good. So Hassan said children carry the genetics, the inheritance, the bloodline, right? And that legacy, that's called legacy, which must be done through a woman. This is why the woman must be so preoccupied with this that she cannot be a head of household providing and be doing this well. This is why when women go in the workforce, or you see all these women bosses and CEOs, and I'm not saying nothing wrong with that, but I just say if you can't do it from your home, or you got to go work like a mule in somebody else's plantation, you can't work and serve your man. And then, especially when I'm saying this to women, when you make as much money or even more as your man, it's difficult. It's hard as shit to respect him because you feel like he ain't the provider, you the provider. See, you're out your role. But if you understood, let's take Sophia and her husband, Stephen Lane, when he said he felt insignificant, is why he left her. It wasn't that he was mad at the gifts. It was that he was insignificant, which means that, so let's say when Vanessa Bryant brought her mama that S500 Mercedes, okay? When Stephen Lane came home with a saw that said, this is what I would have did. This is why you have to understand the game of femininity gets you 100 times further than being masculine, okay? And the provider and talking down to men. So when that S500 was in her driveway, when Stephen Lane came home, this is what Sophia should have said. Hey, babe, how you doing? How was your day at work? And I know Stephen would have been like, it was good. I see it. Who S500 is that out there? Brand new car, the brand new Benz. What's up? Oh, babe. So Vanessa and Kobe got that for us. I did not drive it because I wanted you to look at it, and I just wanted you to see, if you liked it. And if you did, then I just would let her know we really graciously accepted it as a gift. And I wanted to call her and be excited, with you here. And he was like, hell yeah, we could take it. As opposed to her saying, you jealous, you mad because she got me a car and you only got a computer. See, y'all got to understand your role. And he gave her $120,000. Vanessa and them gave her $120,000 cash, paid off all her bill, paid their mortgage off, and the man still left. Let me tell you, money cannot buy a masculine man. It just can't, because he is not going to sign up to be nobody's sucker if his sell out purpose is being heterosexual, masculine provider. This is why we need these men. Okay, Stephen Lane to me was one, and also Joe Jellybean Bryant was one. Okay, and right here, that's what we see Kobe Bryant with his family, that he was so and this is at the top right, is them at his I think it either was the funeral or the Hall of Fame, and they in the damn audience somewhere. They in the what is that? Like, I just don't like Vanessa for that. I don't like her. This is down here on the top, bottom left is when the mom was at all the games and him and his father was close. This Kobe grown with his daddy Joe Jellybean, laughing, chopping it up, doing their thing. And this is him, with his first championship. And they was always there. And this got pushed to the side, which, you know what I'm saying? And now all the games, and you seen multiple games with just Sophia and her mama. Now she estranged from her own mother because you cannot have high levels of estrogen. This shit is toxic because she already greedy and they was finessing the mess out Kobe. Okay. Now let me see. C said the show is extremely valuable to the community. Thank you. Look, thank you. Jackie says she doing well. Yes. And then Bakira said, hook me up. Hook me. Hey, B-Boo. Do that mean you trying to join the live? I put the link. If you look, let me see. Can I pin this link? Oh, yeah, I can. Let me pin the link so everybody can join the live stream. Y'all come through the background, and when you do, I'll pull you in. Okay? If you want to come. Oh, I got a private message. Oh, political. That was Jarome. Political Action Committee. Thank you. He going to make me get back on there. Pack. We need pack. We need a pack. We need. This is what people got to learn. Money
say with a man.
Things done. Not some damn vote. Look, if y'all didn't understand how Donald Trump tried to expose the whole system to y'all and show you that those votes can be hacked, faked, played, they still elections, they make who they want to win. It's already been proven. 2 to 4 companies been over the whole election process for the last 10, 20 years. So we don't know how many elections was hijacked. But he trying to tell you that that's the case. So just don't put your faith in the vote. Put your faith in the PAC. Okay. Make a PAC, get some money, push it, and give it to them people. It's a legal way to pay for what you want. This is a legal way. What is better than this? I can legally go pay for what I want. Period. It's business. This is why we have to understand we could do business. Okay. It's just that melanated people think that vote is everything, the end all be all. It is not. It's the money, because I don't care if you go cast 1 trillion votes. If you don't put not $1 behind your candidates, they gonna struggle. What y'all think they running on? Like, they need money. They need money to back these laws getting pushed. They need to campaign for them. We need to help promote marketing and development of the things. We gotta go and do some grassroots and get volunteers. We gotta pay them people for their lunch or give them bottles of water when they out there working for free. We need them at the polls. We need them in the community, telling people, hey, look, they supporting your gun rights. They supporting freedom of speech. They supporting you having a choice to get a vaccine. They not forcing you. They're supporting, you having a choice to wear a mask. They're supporting keeping the businesses open and not eliminating the middle class. We got to understand that money is what moves things, not just clicking a button in the machine now. We got to understand that. He said, hook me up. You say, hook me. And then she said, with the man. But Kara, you say with a man, you funny. You is funny. Okay.
Yeah, hey Vita, you mentioned money, right? As far as in the campaign and stuff like that. I mean, because when you see, people think that just because the person has the most money, they're the best candidate. No, that's not a fact. But the people with the most money can go the longest, and you know what they do with that money too. They can buy staff. They can hire people away from other candidates, right? That can work for them and stuff like that, right? I know a bunch of candidates that work for the candidates. And they say they voted for me, or whatever, and they proved it because they sent me screenshots. All right, I'm like, if you're gonna tell me something, you better send me some proof, right? And so, running for office takes a lot of money because we buy. It's just so much because you have to pay staff, you have to, get your business cards, you have to get your push cards, you got to buy radio, you got to buy TV. You have to go to all these events, you might have to sponsor some events. It takes a lot of money to run campaigns. And also what the people with the money do, if you don't have money at the end, see, and here's the big thing. And I learned this, and I was able to do this last year. One guy wasn't, but we ended up splitting votes. But if you have enough money, you can hold some to the end, because what these elitists and what these GOP establishment do, to people that don't have money, they'll say, oh, well, we're not going to talk bad about each other. We're not going to have these smear campaigns, blah, blah, blah. But what they do at the end, the last 2 weeks of an election, right?
Yeah.
They take the money to buy the print, to buy all the mail, and to buy the commercials to run your ass into the ground, because they come out with all these ads and all these things against you or whatever, and you can't defend it because you don't have money to come out with a commercial of your own. You don't have money to come out with print of your own and things like that. So that's what they do to candidates that don't have money. They wait to the end, spend money, and run these negative campaign ads, and basically a lot of it is false.
Right, and just smear you so bad, and that's what people remember because it's getting closer to the time they finna hit that voting booth. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But see, just like listen to the game Jarome just dropped to tell you that's the case. So you have to understand how to support something. Basically, Jarome is saying it's still a mini business that these candidates run to work for you. Like when we send people to work in Washington, or even your General Assembly, or your state and city legislation from the mayors and then the governors, and you got to understand that take money, okay? And support. The people need to support, and you need physical people on the ground, and then you need some money. But I say this: if you don't got nothing but a couple dollars to run a campaign, then I hope the people love you, because you can still pull a lot of grassroots people that volunteer for you. Now, if you don't got the people or no money, then I don't know what you got. So you're gonna have to take some time to build that up to run for these offices. So, okay, I live on the corner in your district, Jarome. Sign in my yard. Thank you, Jackie. That's nice. That's awesome. And Bakira say that's when you call me. That's right. So you will have one. Yes. Who you saying for that, Jarome? You on mute, Jarome.
Yeah, anybody who want one. Sorry, yeah, I just hit her back. Okay. She said she live on the corner. She wants a sign. I said, oh, you'll have one. Everybody who wants a Jarome Bell sign will have one. Trust me, this time go around, because it's gonna be a whole different ball game this time. I got a big army, bigger support group. We're gonna have some of that money behind us as well. So yeah, if you want a sign, you're gonna be able to get a sign. You come get it. I won't be able to probably deliver it like I personally did last year, because last year, I didn't have 6,000 supporters like I have this year. I got 6,000 supporters this year, so y'all might have to come get your own sign.
That's okay. But that's what you need.
We get you one. If you want one, you'll be able to have it closer to the race in 2022. Closer to the race.
But that's what's needed to win. You gotta have people, and money helps. But definitely, if you have some people, it can reach other people, and then you can still garner some donations and stuff. Like this is a big deal to get things done. This is still a certain type of business that they run in to do this. Okay, it's just in the name of more so like nonprofit or donation and volunteering. Okay, so but we know donations is huge, because CDC and WHO and all them. That's what got you wearing these masks with this erroneous information, because the donations to them is in the billions. Okay, so we better understand donations, financial donations is huge to run anything, to run all of it. It's all commercial. Okay, it's good. We'll do absolutely, Miss Jackie. Jarome Bell got you. Jarome Bell got you. Okay. I did pin that link if you want. I seen people come in and they click them out. I don't know if this stream is having issues. It was just for me clicking in, but I see Jarome and Madison got in. But I seen people come in and then just click them out on their own. I didn't do it. I don't know. Y'all got to try again. Try again. It's not me doing it. It is not me. If I could pull you in, I will help you. But it's like y'all come in and pop it. It's immediately like popped you out after 10 seconds. So I'm not sure why it's doing that. I'm not sure. Okay. Let me go back to Kobe Bryant. Okay. So now Kobe Bryant with his family here is vital. Okay. You see the success of Kobe Bryant with his family. And this what we should want to see from everybody. Okay. Okay. So Hassan was able to pop in. Good. Because it was gonna be, I don't know, y'all. We trying, it's a struggle today. I don't know why, but even me connecting my own Facebook, it was having trouble saying, hold on, Facebook ain't connected. So I had to take a little time to work with that. See, some stuff I can't finagle until I'm live, because it don't happen until I'm live. So y'all be sometimes y'all see me late, it be some technical stuff. And then it just be me. So Hassan, please come on in with your check, your volume check. Let me make sure you loud and clear.
Peace. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you great.
Cool.
I can hear you great. How you doing today?
Doing great.
That's awesome.
Like always.
Absolutely. So please, if you would like contribute, if you want to contribute what your thoughts is, your opinion to either Vanessa and Kobe family, the economy, PACs, whatever, we've been talking about things. So anything that you see is sufficient to do, please go ahead. Hey, Stacy girl.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. You at work, Hassan? Hassan be chiming in.
I'm always working. Every day.
Hassan be chiming in
for
work. He be on work knowing he supposed to be at work. He be on the phone. I mean, always calling in at work. Hey, Stacy boo, I ain't seen you in a long time. Hey, girl, I know Facebook. Oh, your Facebook had you in Facebook jail. That's why I ain't seen you. Hey, honey. Welcome. If y'all want to join, use the link. I do not mind letting you join. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I want to talk about.
Now, you were talking about the Kobe Bryant thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, it's not. I mean, what's that again?
I'm sorry. I was talking to Stacy. She said she don't come to Facebook a lot. I said I know we mentioned they was putting her in jail a lot. So Jarome, no, he stay in jail. Look at, I got the nerve. He say always. Go ahead.
Nah, but I really don't have an opinion. I mean, that was her husband. She could do what she chose. I mean, is it wrong? I mean, that we outside spectators, we don't know what went on. You saying what? I mean, we do know that his father is the reason why he became who he is. I mean, his father got him there. He took himself over the finish line and did some amazing things. But, his father missed the main thing that everybody needs. And his son didn't have a chance to socialize. Because if he would have been a social person, he would have never fell for the trap of that woman in the first place. So, because he would have had some game about himself.
I totally agree. Totally. Because Jelly Bean Joe had the game. So I agree. They shelter him. And you know what, Hassan, you saying that, and that's what his teammates said. Matter of fact, it was an interview done with his teammates, and they asked, why did they think Kobe was awkward or nobody really supported him and Vanessa? And they was like, because he never could relate to them for real, because he didn't have enough worldly exposure. He didn't even know about the movie Scarface and Godfather. You got to remember, in the 80s and 90s, that was like the biggest movies. So if he couldn't even relate to that, they like, what's wrong with this dude? He really has never seen a movie. So he having to go get these movies and watch them so he can understand, like, oh, okay, this is what y'all talking about. So I totally agree with that. And I think,
I mean, the same thing that made him awkward made him great, though. So we got to look at it. It's a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm, correct.
Because the reason why he was so great, because he was so awkward. Instead of most other players, they phase out of the league because they out there partying, women, etc. He was in the gym. He made himself the greatest version of himself. So, I mean, in that aspect, he should have, they should have just. It's hard to say what they should have did. The man is dead. So, I mean,
but we can always reflect on the situation and see what could have been done different. Because
I mean, what could have been done different is letting him socialize with the opposite sex, letting him see what he like in people and things like that, and he wouldn't have been ran over like that. In my opinion,
I agree.
Because they got him.
Yeah.
They basically put their hooks in him, and they was like, "This, we got us a brother finna make it. He ambitious, he driven. Boom, let's put our hooks into this man." And that's what they did. And it was her mother and her. It was a full court press.
Yeah, correct.
They locked them down, and it was a wrap from there. But yeah.
I agree with you. And Sophia was versed in the game of this, and she knew, she basically lived through her daughter. Like, look, you gonna make it big. You young, you beautiful, you fit. I'm keeping you preserved and sheltered. I'm pushing you more to a wife than what we see today. Proud thotting, okay, all that twerking on social media and all that. That ain't. I'm letting you know, ladies, that is not gonna get you a man of high caliber. Okay, it's just not. And then you got to understand also, these men marry their wives in their rookie year, you know, in their first 5 years. I mean, you rarely hear about these athletes getting married, you know, 10 years in a career. They be getting married kind of before they go, or the first couple years they up in there. And somebody, you know, put themselves around them. I'm not saying nothing wrong with that, because I believe in that. I'm a fan of that. That's how I live my life. Okay. If you ask me, my man a man of means, baby, man of means, and we're gonna be living good. Whatever good is for us. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't care how she didn't, you know, foster that family connection when Kobe literally came from that. So, and that's
But
all
she
he
couldn't.
wanted.
They couldn't have stuck their hooks into him and got complete control and domination over him if they didn't remove him from his family.
Yeah. And literally
So
that's what happened, because Kobe was, I know she like, they don't like me, nobody like me, and the players don't, and your mama and daddy don't, and the tabloids is mad at me. What am I doing so wrong? I don't understand. I'm in love with you, babe. What can we do? I don't know. Nobody likes me. Nothing I can do is ever right. So he like, you know what? I'm gonna move my family. He moved, took the mansion. It was 6-bedroom, 6-bathroom mansion. Pushed them back to Philly, and now he in California by himself. Rookie mistake, Kobe Bryant. Because now, who your family? Every time you see him, he with just his wife and her mom. Come on, now that's gonna suck that's dropping literally your testosterone level. Cause you only around the old mama who only out to get you. I'm sorry, she was, and she showed that. Because when Kobe died, literally in her court documents said, Kobe Bryant fulfilled me to take care of me for the rest of my life is not being fulfilled by Vanessa Bryant. She's suing her right now for $5 million.
I believe that Kobe said that. I believe that Kobe said he was gonna take care of her. I believe it.
But she was threatening him too. She was threatening him. She telling him.
That's neither here nor there.
Yeah, but
I mean because here's the thing, we don't have a problem with Kobe, but we got a problem with R. Kelly. I mean, Kobe was on some R. Kelly stuff, if we want to be honest.
And I said that. And this how you know Kobe didn't know the game. Kobe didn't do nothing different than what R. Kelly did. That's why I say people in our community be so mad at him. I was like, man, everyone did this. Y'all need to stop. The history of men, they always on younger women. I didn't personally have a problem with it, but people mad and everybody. R. Kelly's still the great to me. Y'all, I refuse. If y'all ain't gonna take Elvis down for marrying a 14-year-old, y'all ain't taking my great down neither, baby. Okay. So,
or what's the dude who made Great Balls of Fire, who married his cousin, who was 12? Jerry Lee Lewis. There you go.
And then
Jerry Lee Lewis married his cousin, who was 12.
And then what's the one raised his daughter and marry her?
Woody Allen.
Huh?
Woody Allen.
Woody Allen. And we got 100 cases of this, and our community ain't mad at that or saying nothing about that. Just like y'all okay with the world being shut down for a flu, but ain't nobody mad the world ain't shut down to stop child trafficking. So this is just what I'm saying about, it's just always a contradiction. It's just double standard. It just is. So I just agree, and I say Kobe didn't know nothing. That's why I say his rookie mistake was, just being surrounded with cutting his parents off. But
it don't matter what woman. Any woman would have got him because he was lame to the game. He didn't know no better.
Yeah.
So, but because the thing is, from what I've heard, if I'm correct, they said he slept with like 100 women or something, 100 plus women on his wife.
Yeah.
Well,
his wife said that.
That's biology taking its place.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean.
And that didn't happen till he got in the league so much.
Don't matter.
But I say, even if you know, he did that. She didn't leave over there. I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't have left my man over there neither. Them hoochies ain't me. They ain't in my position. I'm chilling. They the ones is here today, gone tomorrow. I'm in a game. So I wouldn't have left my man over there neither. But you know, it just at the end of the day, you know, when Stephen Lane said, you know, Sophia Lane's husband or ex-husband said, you know, she waited 10 years for that, because no matter, you know, if Kobe, I mean, how you can't have sex with 100 women overnight, that takes time. So that means you knew all along, but Stephen said she waited the 10 years because her mama Sophia said, don't you dare divorce him, or, you know, nah, you ain't doing nothing. Don't you try to do nothing before that 10-year mark, just like her mama did. So, you know, and that's why I just say Vanessa knew what she was doing. Because people are like, well, you know, she was only a teen. She didn't know either. Man, from the minute that I don't think she wasn't in love. I really think she was in love with Kobe, because we got to understand Kobe had her at 16. So if she was sheltered, that means she might have had one other boyfriend, maybe, you know, before Kobe. I don't know if he broke up virginity. I can't say. But basically, she got with Kobe. He got it like that. He a star. You know, remember, he already went through high school as a star. He got Adidas endorsements. He the man. He on the Lakers now. So he the man. So now he coming to pick you up at your school. He's sending 40 bouquet of roses to the school in the office. This how I know Kobe. I said, how Kobe doing this? This girl 16 and he 21. It's real camera footage, helicopters hovering, paparazzi, that it disturbed the school and they had to ban him from the school to make her homeschool. So, I mean, I think they both was in love. I really do. But just the Stephen Lane even said that they, you know, wore him down about that prenup. And I know that Mama Pam, Mama, and Joe Jellybean was just really trying to get Kobe to protect his assets and say, look, bro, you don't know this game. We didn't make sure you got it. So we need to be here to help you. But I think he just wanted his own independence as a man, as a grown man. And when you come from a family, your whole goal as a man is to build your own family. So I know he wanted to do that without feeling like his mom and dad was in the middle of it. Especially if this man didn't see the movie Scarface and Godfather. I can only imagine how sheltered he was. Like, that's like sheltering from, like, you know, like a 12-year-old. But after my son, you know, at a certain age, like, yeah, you can watch the movies because you need to know what's out in the world, because you finna be out in the world. Especially when Joe Jellybean know his whole goal is to put his son in that NBA. If you know that,
This one thing too about Kobe. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Go ahead. This for all of us.
No, I was gonna say, and you know, this one thing about Kobe too. Kobe grew up overseas a lot. You know, Kobe grew up in Italy, and so the culture, yeah, right. The culture over in Italy is different. Well, I just say over in Europe, period, is different than it is here in the United States. Older men date younger women over there all the time, you know, because it's legal. It's legal to date 14, 15, 16-year-olds. And, you know, and they can actually marry at 14 over there, if I'm not mistaken. So Kobe, that was the culture he grew up in.
Yeah.
See, a lot of people don't understand that. So when he came back to the United States, you know, Kobe had that Italian culture. He had that European culture in him.
Yeah.
And so he didn't really see it as, okay, well, okay, I'm an adult, but I'm dating a 16-year-old because that's what they did in Europe. He's European. And so, I mean, and that had everything to do with that, you know, in my honest opinion, because the culture is different.
And I definitely want to say that his whole family was there with him, fluent in Italian. So this is what they seeing and they growing up and doing. So if you see that, and you see that from age 6 to 14, that's definitely puberty years and everything. And you like, that's what I'm gonna do. So when you came back to the States and you went back to Philly in high school, that's exactly what you did. And he had that year as a rapper. He met a nice model. That girl is beautiful. You know, she was feminine, fit, friendly, and never complained, as his teammates said. He like, okay, I'm good. This me. Y'all finna do me. Exactly what Jarome saying, but just didn't understand, you know, all the legalities that come with, you know, the Kobe estate is worth like $600 million. And I'm not even talking about Mamba. Mamba is another thing. And then they started another foundation just to give money to the families of the 7 other people that died also in a helicopter. So I mean, Kobe is literally like, just a rich ass man. And I'm saying in so many ways because he had the real foundation that he needed in family with the masculine man growing him up from his birth with his sisters there, his mother's there, a true family. And then he went directly into riches at age 16, like millions of dollars. So what better story is that? Like, who wouldn't want that? But these American women are very different from those Italian women. So, and I bet he over there, ooh la, oui. Now that's French. That's
that's French. That's French. I know it's definitely French. But that's why too, a lot of American men, especially in the service, a lot of American men in the service will marry a woman from overseas because of their culture, because of the way they take care of their men, because of the way they're brought up over there in their culture, and they don't want to deal with these American women because of the feminism, because of everything that you talk about, everything we talk about. It's more of a headache, to some men, and they rather marry foreign women, from these other countries. But it's not the headache. Treat their men like kings.
It's not the headache. It's not the headache. It's just basic economics. Why would you go to work, start a business, create a fortune, create a legacy to give it to somebody who don't deserve it? That's really what it is. It's just a great business decision for the most part.
Wait, let me clarify what you're saying, Hassan. You saying why would a man, period, just a man,
why would a man in America,
okay,
who had to pull himself up from the bottom, give an American woman anything? For the most part, I'm not speaking about the minority, the pockets. I'm talking about the 90 percentile, the ones that's not worth it.
I got you. Okay, so Hassan saying, how does it benefit in the end? And this is a lot of conversations men are having online. This is why I bring the masculine men who have been married so y'all can hear from them. And they're saying, what would marriage get me? How am I benefiting from a marriage today? And because at the end of the day, it is the woman out for the riches or for the gain, but she's not willing to exchange, be submissive, be of service to her man, have the children that he wants, give him sex regular. That's the thing right there. See, if you marry somebody for money, it's gonna be a time you ain't gonna like them like that no more. And then if you withhold sex from your man and then don't want them threatening, well, if you go step out on me, I'm gonna take you in them courts. I'm gonna take you right to the cleaners, So it's like, what position do these men want to put themselves in when they working hard and putting 27 years in the military and a 25-year marriage? Don't nobody want to at the end of the day get that outcome. So women do need to really think about that. And Jackie say, I think it's also a maturity level difference between American and other cultures. I think so too, absolutely. Because these women immature. I'm gonna tell you now. When you got, I could even say Gabrielle Union. I know Gabrielle Union about 40. She doing a drop it, bust it challenge and all that on Instagram. A married woman to Dwayne Wade, okay? But see, that's what happened when you got these, Jarome say beta males, or when these men ain't masculine no more. You letting your woman do all, unless he was right there and she was doing it. I don't think that was a good idea, But I'm just saying, it's just the stance these women take. They lead the men, and when a woman, let me show y'all. When a woman lead a man, he become feminized, just like Russell Wilson. He wearing his hair all cute and curly, and he probably spending as much time in the mirror as Sierra. I'm just sorry. When a woman leads you, just like Dwayne Wade, okay, you become feminized. It's not good. Okay. So that's why I'm down with the masculine men, and y'all hearing from them all the time. And I also agree with them and Jackie, because the maturity level, just period. I gotta say this. This ain't nothing to do with race. Americans are entitled. Okay. We have attitudes. We think things should just be given to us. We think things should be the way we just want them, regardless of if we put work in or not. Especially women think like this, specifically American women, honey. Okay. And then we think, and especially if you're a Democrat, your hand is always out. I need it, give it to me. And it's like, where is it coming from? Damn. Where you getting it from? If you want me to give you something, where am I getting it from to get to you? It's like they don't think that I don't care, just give it to me. And then we see that American women, go for divorce 100 times over more than women from other countries. They won't even phantom divorce unless it's a harsh relationship, abusive or something. Women in America just be like, I'm leaving him because, I don't like him no more. Or, he got on my nerves and he kept wanting sex and he wanted me to have all these children. All the stuff you supposed to be doing. He want me to be submissive. You supposed to be doing that. That man ain't asking nothing of you. That man wanted a man. He wouldn't be heterosexual. He wants a woman. Okay. And a woman means you in touch with your femininity and you understand that is the end all be all. And that is what's going to home run your relationships. Not that challenging or thinking you the lead and he's to follow. And if you feel like it today, nah, see, that's not good. See, when you out your role, you can't get into sex like that. Y'all know the mindset it takes to get somebody sex 3-4 times a week. You cannot have a job hanging over your head 40 hours a week unless you just a young chicken hot and you hiding your pants a little bit, And I ain't saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying because when you younger, your sex drive be higher. So, and over time, life kind of gets you and it reduce it. But unless that's who you are, do y'all know women the mindset to take to look sexy, stay fit? Like I'm telling y'all, all the stuff I do. If I really sat here and told y'all all the stuff I do, real men do. Let me get this comment right here.
She say, is that a woman or that? Okay, Jackie says men also need to respect women who stay at home and take care of the household kids. That's the only woman I respect. I don't respect no other type of woman.
And look,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I look at like I got a saying that black women were the so-called first transsexuals. They were the first people to say they don't need a man. They were the first people to be a man. I'm the daddy and the mama. What is that?
Right.
Some transvestite energy.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is what it is. And this is why these dudes are so violent. It's a disgusting thing when you truly look at it. And this is why other cultures of women, they don't even have to put in no work from the early stages, because there are principles to being a man. There are principles to being a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over here we have men with vaginas.
I agree. Women who trying to be too masculine and run their men and run their house, and all they do is run their men.
But they're not masculine though. See, that's the thing. They not masculine. They come off like a little brother. It's a very disgusting energy. It's like anybody with a little brother know what I'm talking about. It's like, hey, you did this. Guess what I got? Guess what I did? That's what I did. Hey, big bro, look at me now. That's what these women in America are. And it's like a man, like, nah, listen, I'm going out putting my life on the line. I want a woman, not a man.
Leave me when I get home. Her soft, her subtleness, her nurturing, her warm cookies. Y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. That's why, let me tell you women too, get y'all some game. That's why that dumbass ideology got you breaking your back and working. And I bet you going 50-50 on dates and shit like that. And ain't no man taking care of you because you so busy telling them you don't need them. I never say that to a man. I don't care. I could have $1 trillion to my name and assets, land. I could own the whole country, 42 islands. My man come home. I know, babe, we got all these assets, but I missed you so much today. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here to protect this family. I'm so glad that you love me. I'm just so happy. Like, I got your dinner over there. I couldn't do shit. I'm Peggy Bundying all day. Like, y'all don't get it. All he gonna do is go get 42 more islands, 52 more countries. Okay, y'all tripping. Like, y'all don't get it. You don't have to work. Like, you're not breaking your back and dealing with these health issues and all that, and gaining weight and being mad, bitter, and nasty and mean, and then you destroying other women, telling them you don't need no man, you can be a thot, go and drop it down. You stupid. Y'all stupid and y'all destroying people with that, and I can't stand it. And I want all the smoke from it. That's what I'm telling you.
And if we look at this from an economic standpoint, women and immigrants, they mess the job market up. I mean, women would take anything they give them, and immigrants will work for next to nothing.
Correct.
Which prices everybody out.
Everybody. And this is literally going at play right now. I read y'all last week articles on them saying, let's replace the low fertility and all them people on unemployment. Right now, ain't nobody going to work. The business is hard. The felon, the small business, ain't no the middle class felon, and then the shutdowns, and then the immigration stuff. So all these immigrants coming in willing to work for all that they offering that you don't want, the American don't want no more, ain't going to work. And then the fact that you ain't having kids, they said in the article I read it last week, the remedy to that is allow immigration in every nation. And this is a global epidemic of low testosterone. I'm telling y'all, we don't get it together. It's finna be a wrap. You ain't gonna even have no opportunity to get it together. Okay, you gotta know.
Here's the thing about testosterone. Testosterone causes low fertility. Low fertility does not cause low testosterone. It's the woman, it's the man who's needed to keep life going. Women just hold it. So a woman can have low testosterone, and a man can have high testosterone. And his high testosterone, which will increase his sperm count, which will cause her to get pregnant without any drugs, anything like that. That's how powerful it is. But it's not the same way on the opposite end.
Yeah.
So we got to understand what's happening. Low testosterone is the cause of low fertility rates, because there's no need to have high fertility if you have low testosterone. But low testosterone is happening because there are principles to being a man. And one of them is being a provider. And this cannot be socially engineered out of you. That's what makes you a man. Because providing is not just going to work and getting a paycheck.
It's that protection. And it's that building the family and all of that. I had you on last week with that Hassan. Y'all, I had Hassan every week, but Hassan was even interviewed last week with his family, talking about his family.
And that's what people need to understand when it comes to understanding this. Like Miss Jones said, there won't even be a chance to get it together, because in 79 years, if we keep going at the rate that we're going, half the population on the planet, not just in America, the planet will be wiped out completely. Gone.
This is not Hassan's
4 billion people. 4 billion people gone.
This is not Hassan's opinion.
Ain't no snap.
We covered this, the literal breakdown of this, scientific breakdown. And we cover how, when I tell y'all, men are so important, men do not get enough credit. Not even if we all just came together and gave them credit, we need to do it 10 times over. Men literally keep humanity going. Literally, they build it, and they are the ones who give you the seed to create it. Now, what he's saying is, in the article we did, we read and said that they think that this is what BBC said. And I looked up, I said, let me see who funding this, because this sounds like old Billy Boy Gates, old Gangster Gates. And lo and behold, he funds BBC. I said, this gotta be Bill Gates saying this. So he said the answer, because it's a global the global pandemic is low testosterone. It's not coronavirus. Sorry to tell y'all. Okay.
In China, they have masculinity camps where you don't have a choice. Once you reach a certain age, they put you through masculinity camps, because the way that it's going, it's a dangerous thing.
Everywhere. And countries are doing something about it. They used to throw them in the military, but they said when they put them in the military, they were soft. They like, no. We got to get y'all back in y'all masculine role. Okay. So that is the pandemic is this, the low testosterone, which is causing low fertility rates, which you don't get the children. So when women go from 4 to 5 kids to 1 to 2, that literally means you cannot base a working class of people on that. So the BBC article said to combat it, right? And these are like professors and scientists chiming in on his article, said, oh, to combat that, let's just let droves of immigrants in every country, not just America. Let them in every country. It's millions of immigrants coming around that could, fill this thing in. We could get millions of people to go into this workforce and to do the things that these children that ain't being born would do. So this is, and then y'all gotta remember, Joe Biden is with this gender neutrality. So let's take gender out this is all just horrible. Just pew. So this is why we need to understand what's really going on, and that family is everything is built on family. Nothing supersedes that. Period. And what makes a family? A heterosexual masculine man. You ain't getting it. Other than that, it's a single head of household. That's what the IRS say. They don't say you a family. They called you single head of household. So, okay. And Jarome say that's the problem. What's the problem, Jarome? I got to take y'all a quick break. I'll be right back. But Jarome, what you saying is the problem? You said
as far as Jackie, I was responding to Jackie's comment. She said the newer generations have forgotten it, especially with so many single parents now. I mean, and that's the problem. No fathers, no fathers to lead and guide and teach their sons and show their daughters how they're supposed to treat women and respect women, and how the women are supposed to, treat the men. If the men are not in the household, there's a lot that does not get taught to kids. And that's both, males and females. None of it gets taught. And so now you just have two females, trying to teach each other. You have a female trying to teach a young boy, how to be a man, which they can't do, because they just don't have the makeup. They don't have the DNA for that. And I'm not saying, that a woman can't teach a boy to be a strong person, but that's different. It's totally different. And so when a man is not,
I say she can't. You ain't got to say it. I say it. But
she can't. I agree. I gotta back him. She can't.
No,
make a man. Woman cannot.
I'm gonna let him continue. I didn't want to cut him off. I know he can't say it, but I can.
No, you're fine. I mean, but in the same token, like I said, we agree. We agree. And the only reason I say that, and I mean, as far as especially the women of today, the women of yesteryear, because I've seen my aunts who didn't have their husbands because they died in the war or whatever and not remarry, raise their children, and some of them were boys. But now the difference between that is that they had uncles to make sure, that they were raised properly, to make sure that they got these things, that the boy needed, and the daughters, because the uncles were in part of the family. We were all close knit, but now it's not happening. So, that's the real, thing that I was telling Jackie about, and that's why, the generations have forgotten it. It's not that they have forgotten it. The problem is that they just haven't been taught.
Correct. Because when you take men out of the community, goes down, and I'm glad because Shahrazar Ali is back on the scene, and she wrote the book, A Black Man Guide to the Black Woman, and she talks about all this, and she wrote that book in like 1991. Well, that's when it was published. So she's back on the scene doing interviews, and of course she is a practicing polygamist, but I mean, she practiced polygyny. Her husband has more, 2 or more wives, but we just have to understand she has always advocated for the man because she understands he truly is the cornerstone. Look, we have to understand men truly build the societies. It has always been men who have passed laws. Whenever you think of somebody putting a law in, you think of a man. When you think of a lawyer, a judge, you think of a man. When you think of a construction worker, you think of a man. When you think of police, you think of a man. When you think of firemen, you think of a man. When you think of mailman, you think of a man. It's just all these vital roles in society are men. When you see somebody paving the street, you see men. And if you see a woman, you be like, oh God, they got that woman out there. Like we know that it's not like that's what she's supposed to be. So men literally build the ground we walk on, the shoes on our feet, the clothes on our back. Okay. and they farm the lands for real, okay, and then they foster the families. And so when you take them out the picture, what you think gonna happen? All that is now sacrificed and compromised, and just a horrible outcomes can only come from that. Because if just think about this, let's say something happened, and you like, oh my God, we got to call the police. Do you want cute ass dimes showing up in a police uniform talking about what's the problem? Hell no. You want big, burly, masculine men that's up they strap, be like, we're here, man. We got you. We got you. What's the problem? You don't want women coming to your rescue. I don't care what nobody say. If your house on fire, you be like, man, I want the finest bitch to come put this fire out. No. You gonna want the burly man who done got years experience putting out fires and smoke inhalation and still make his way home covered in smoke. Somebody, yeah, babe, I had to save a few people today. And you're like, you did? That you don't want you, period. If you know a skyscraper finna get built, you be like, man, I finna go find me some families to build this guy. No, nobody thinks that. Just like when women and all that let's get together and change the law. They know they gotta go to men. And they be like, that's the problem. It's just all men in that change doing the past.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do any of y'all think y'all can live in a house or walk in a building that was built by 100% women only?
I would. I'd be like, hell no. I'm sorry. I just wouldn't trust that. I don't know if it's ever been done. I just wouldn't trust it. I'd be like, oh Lord, let me let that building sit up there and run for a couple years before I even go near it.
No, I'm talking about as soon as it's built, you walk right in it.
No, I wouldn't. I'm sorry, I wouldn't. I know and they always say I'm biased and hard on the women. Women tell me that all the time. Men even ask me why I be so hard on them, because I want them to get it together and understand the value of a man. And I had a father, and I wish somebody would tell me how he wasn't that important or valuable in my life. Okay, he was awesome. He was on last week, but I just don't think men get enough credit. They just don't. They just don't when they literally are single-handedly, directly for hands-on building the whole society in which we live. All these comforts, all this Amazon ordering, all that eBay, all that mail you getting, that email you getting, the computer you using, that phone, the diamond that you want. You ain't down there mining. But we like the end result. We like them diamonds. We like gold. But we ain't willing to go in the mines like that and risk our life to die like the men be doing. That car you driving, that road that's on, that train, that track, that airplane. Come on. And then when you get a maintenance, I don't want no woman coming up in here. Where's the man at? Where is he at? So that's just me. I'm just biased because I understand us in our proper roles, and that's really what it is. That's what I promote. Women in a proper role is to let that man build and get his hands dirty, and you be like, babe, I got this little oil, clean you off. I got your clothes washed. I got dinner for you. I ran the bath water. You need your back rub. That's what I'm doing because he is allowing me to serve him in that way when I ain't got to be the work mule. I don't want to be the work mule. Anybody signing up for that shit just stupid. It's like, why would you not get with a man and he do all the work and you benefit the fruits of his labor, and all you have to do is make sure he is getting the most he want from you. He gonna handle the rest. Who I just don't get who thinks that's a bad idea. That's okay. I ain't gonna try to get it. Anyway, Jackie said, absolutely. Years ago, my relationship ended. I knew having a male in my boy's life. They are attached to my dad. Been blessed to have parents who are still married for 47 years. Absolutely. I made sure my now young man had male role models. Big difference. Absolutely. Because if not, we did a show and we talked about how we did a multitude of them. How if boys don't have men, they literally are biologically insufficient, and they can only reach a certain level of testosterone, which means they only gonna reach a certain level of masculinity. And that's why we see a lot of weak men today. That's why women don't want to follow men, because they aren't leaders that we need. These caliber men that y'all see on this show is a rare breed. Okay. And I'm here to revive them and show that they're alive. All right. And we need them. I don't even want to try to understand what it's like to live in a world without men. And for y'all that do, then go off to yourself and get with all women and make your own world. Okay, go build your own little world and community. We see how long that's gonna last. But that's for y'all. I ain't trying to do it. I don't want to be around a whole bunch of women all day. Y'all estrogen levels gonna be high. That means y'all gonna be getting fat. And because that's what estrogen do, make you fat. Okay, that's why childhood obesity is on the rise, because the whole estrogen level is so high and it's making people fat. It's toxic. I'm sorry. I love being a woman though. I just like understand being a woman in my role, not trying to be in a man's role. They even open doors for people. I know that's right. You got you some gentlemen. That's right, Miss Jackie. You got you some gentlemen out here in this world. That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank y'all for contributing, and don't mind sharing y'all personal information, just like, Jarome did, Madison did, my father did. Last week, Hassan did, King did. Who was it? Ty did, Mike did. So it was, to share y'all, it really makes a difference, man. It really, really makes a difference. I was getting feedback about that, and people were saying, wow, like, nobody does that. I said, I know. That's why I wanted to do it. I got the idea to do it, and I said, let me go with it. And I'm going to keep having them on here. Okay, I might do a 10-part series honoring men. It still ain't enough if you ask me. They need more shit. I ain't trying to do 27 years in no military. I don't want to do my show from work like Hassan be doing. I want to be doing it right here. Well, I can do me right here. If I need to run to the bathroom, I can. I ain't got to ask nobody, excuse me, can I go? No, I just go. Okay? That's on y'all. Y'all tripping. Let me stop. I'm bashing people, Jarome. Jarome, I'm bashing people.
You good. You good. I'm just laughing.
I don't want to be bashing nobody. It's just the truth. My thing is to promote the truth. And if the truth ain't what's right, then I don't know what is. Okay, that's it. I ain't trying to cut nobody down. It's just, that's why I keep it on the issue and not the people. I know the people is what making the issue what it is, but we got to check them thinking in them ideologies. Okay.
The problem is, one of the problems is people have to understand the truth. If they can't understand and accept the truth, then they're part of the problem. So hey, you just have to keep talking, keep speaking the truth and shit. People get over it or under it, as my daddy used to say.
Right, correct. That is correct. That is the absolute truth. And see, and I don't know if you or Hassan, I heard while I was right in the restaurant, because it's right there. Somebody said if a man ain't there, who's passing down the principles? So
yeah, that was
That was wrong. Okay. That's absolutely true. Hassan, I know you're at work, but chime in freely. I know they be hearing me. I did my presentation.
No, it's all good.
Okay, I'm gonna say that's why I presented and handed it over to y'all. Huh? You said what?
I said I'm always working. No days off. That's pretty much how it is.
That's what's up. So what woman what woman would want to say that? I'm always working, no days off. Only time I'm gonna say that if I'm working on my beauty. That's it. I don't want to punch nobody clock like that. Okay, period.
But again, we live in a world where two separate beings can be the exact same, and what we have is a problem. We just, the thing is, it takes steps amongst people. People have to make steps, and the thing is, I get it on both ends. I get, you know what I'm saying? Both parties are getting bad deals for the most part. Men are getting bad deals and women getting bad deals. But the difference between men and women is that men have to work themselves and
it's cutting out your audio
outside of, having some game and a mouthpiece, and that's a whole different story. But say that again.
It'll cut your mic off for like a couple. Yeah, I can hear you. It just had cut it out for like 2 seconds.
Oh yeah. So what I was saying was, a man gotta build himself up. A woman just gotta be born for the most part, and she still has to put in the work. But the work she has to put in is different from the work a man has to put in. And the question I have to ask, anybody can chime in: when they took the women out the kitchen, who feed the children? That's the problem. How the kids gonna eat? If cooking for a man is too much for you, if it's oppressive and all these things, how is cooking for somebody? One of the greatest things you can do is nourish somebody. How is that oppressive? See, the thing is, the thing that women find oppressive, men want to have sex with you. That's oppressive. No, oppressive is a man taking it from you.
Correct.
And they don't want to go back to those days, because those days used to be.
No.
I'm just saying, we don't live in those days. It's because a good man stop bad men from doing what they want to do. Correct. That's the reason why women are able to live the life they want to live. And the reason why we have these issues, issues truly, is because people have too many options. That's really what it boils down to.
Like, what you mean too many options?
Too many options. You able to do too much.
Okay.
And then here's the thing. Just because you can do something don't mean you should.
I agree.
So you gotta look at what's energetically and biologically sound for you to do. Correct. Yes, a woman can sleep with as many men as she wants to, but look at the levels of porn stars that commit suicide. Look at the prostitutes that commit suicide. Look at the mental illness that come down from that. Just look at it. Go look at the statistics. It's disgusting. How many women get into the game, meaning adult entertainment, and kill themselves?
And the fact that you said that, because it reminded me of Chris Rock when he say everything, just because you can do it don't mean you should. I mean, driving with your feet, you could probably drive with your feet. That don't mean it's a good idea. So I agree. I agree with you on that. Just because you can don't mean you should. Period. And you weren't made.
I mean, just because you. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right now, things happen when men did things, but now we have a world where they want to allow everybody to play. Well, this is the unfortunate reality that people got to understand. And Jarome knows this better than anybody. Everybody can't be a politician, can they, Jarome?
No. Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not.
Everybody can't be a basketball player, can they?
Nope.
Everybody can't be a football player, can they? Everybody can't be a astrophysicist, a molecular biologist. We can go on and on and on. A doctor, a lawyer. We don't even have to go to the extreme. So we know this. This is a principle. This is a natural principle for every action. There is. Everybody don't make the cut. So if we know this, why are we trying to bring everybody in? Why are we trying to shoehorn or force everything down one pipe? That's not the way things work.
No, it don't.
Every man is not a leader. Every man is not a man.
Look, I had to look sadly like, damn, that's true.
Yeah, right.
And I'm talking about the testosterone levels are normal. See, when they talk about normal, they talking about. See, they don't even talk about testosterone levels in the thousands. They don't even talk about those, because that's a rare breed of men.
Yeah.
Who levels is in the thousands. You know what I'm saying? But the average man is supposed to have at least 750. That make you masculine. Yeah. Average men walking around 500, 250 to 500. That's dangerous.
I'm saying the levels are recording at 300, record low.
Too low.
And that's because
record low.
And that's because of the men that are being raised by mostly women.
Correct.
That's why. Like I said, a lot of people don't understand that this shit's biological, and physical, and it's chemistry. If you don't have go ahead, Hassan.
Everything is biological. Even the fact that you're able to be see, people don't even understand that. Like, for example, when you're a politician, it's certain postures you gotta have. It's certain talking. It's the way you talk, the way you hold the speech, the way you're able to intake information, the way you are able to make decisions that other people couldn't make. That's what separates those from who can and who can't. The way you carry yourself. When they do a background check on you, is this a person I can see running? Can this person run their house? How they gonna run this country? They can't run this house.
Correct. And
or
that's
the state.
usually the men that go into those positions is because they used to leading in a most intimate and intricate and most probably complex situation, which is sustaining a family. And 25 years is a long time to have a record for that. And this is who is chosen to be CEO. You can't be CEO as a bachelor. I'm sorry. Ain't nobody hiring CEO. Now maybe if it's the CEO's son, but he gonna be like, son, go get your family together. Okay. This is why the president must be married. Y'all gotta understand, men run
The
this
only
country, this
bachelor
world, if y'all like it or
CEO
not.
owns his own business.
Mm-hmm.
The only bachelor that the CEO runs his own business. But if you are working in somebody else's organization, no.
No. Hell no. Overwhelmingly 9.8 men CEOs
But
are
here's,
married.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is what people don't understand. Like, people don't even understand temporal time. So, okay, let's say you got two people working, and the children, they go to school. You got daycare and all these things. Like this, it's only 24 hours in a day. When do people have time to bond with each other, get to know each other? Like, that was this athlete, I forget who he was. It was either tennis player, football player, something like that. Pale skin dude. He married to a woman for 22 years. The moment he retired, he was with her for 1 year and divorced her because he didn't know who he was with, and he didn't like the person. They had children and everything.
Right.
Because time, like, are you putting time in to know who you with? And if you got a woman who's working also, when do she, because she got to put all her mental energy focus into that. She really married to her boss. She's not married to you.
I was just finna say that's who she.
Her boss calling all the shots.
And that happens to a lot of military people when they spend, years and retire after years in the military, and they and they retire, and then they're home a lot. They're home every day. They see each other every day, and it's like, well, shit, I don't even like this person, or whatever. Just like how Sin said, that happens to a lot of military people, once they retire and they end up divorcing or end up, leaving because the person that they were with, they really didn't know and don't know because, they really didn't spend all that time with them,
Yeah, absolutely. And that understanding that to basically not have to learn that in your adult time is best to learn as a child, growing up, not only seeing the example, but learning as you watch. So that's when you talked about principles being passed down and all that. That's why I learned it. Like, I learned, the value of a woman is in her submission and her look and services to her man. It is not in how hard you can work, how many degrees you could get, how much money you make, how you try to overthrow your man. It's in how well you can service him. And that's what my daddy showed me. So, I mean, my dad himself, now he has not been married to the same woman.
But
my dad has 43 years of marriage in his background. He said, no, I got to have me a woman down for me. It's just that's just all. And I see that makes the man life balance and comfort. Because he know when he go slay dragons, he ain't looking for the comfort in the world, but he should have it in his palace. So I totally
it's all based on biology. It's like, it's fear-based. So, for example, most men and women, they have a fear-based approach to mating and breeding. So, for example, men, they do things like they don't want to foster relationships with women, so they just sleep with as many as they can possibly. You have women who don't want to basically be a woman, play her role as a woman, and sit back and take the back seat, or sometimes take the back seat because her a principle of being a woman is being a helper, a server. That's one of the principles of being a woman. So women don't want to do that. So what they do, I don't want to be in a relationship. So they play around too. Men like, I don't want to be in a relationship. Women, they do this, they tie you down and things like that. So everybody look at the cons. And in today's times, everybody is being told to look at the cons. Look at the cons of the opposite sex and not the pros, because there's more pros. I'm not even just talking about on an emotional level or psychological level or just a companionship level. I'm talking about biologically. There are more pros than cons. There are cons, of course. There's pros and cons to everything, but there are more pros than cons. But everybody is focused on the cons. Nobody is focused on the pros, and this is why we don't have relationships like our foremothers and forefathers who had it worse than we had it today. We got it easier today, and it's harder today. But if you look at it, it's good business, because if you're a single guy, you're a single woman, that's 2 incomes for whoever's your landlord or your mortgage. That's 2 mortgages. That's 2 rents. That's 2 light bills, 2 water bills, etc. It's more money in keeping people apart than putting them together. Because when people come together, resources are consolidated. Decisions are made judiciously. You're able to save more, spend more, get more. But when you got all the money going out 3 different places or 4 different places, or however you choose to live your life, then it becomes more. But people don't even see the economic benefits of coming together. But again, you got to know who you are as a human, because not all humans are fit, unfortunately, to come in and work with each other, because most women are told that they on the same playing field as men. And my dear, you're not.
You totally not.
You're not.
And if y'all think y'all want to challenge that, think about when they let men and women sports. That's just a losing battle, especially in that UFC and all that. They let that transformer guy in the sport, and look how he crushed women's skulls and all that. You physically cannot match a man. You can't. And that's called testosterone, because testosterone will kill you.
And
if you try to go up against it with no testosterone,
you're supposed to match a man by filling in the blanks. Because a man don't got it all and a woman don't got it all. But when we come together, we complete.
We got it all. Yeah.
And this is the problem, because everybody wants to go against each other. Everybody feminism don't affect me. Why? Because I understand that if you treat a woman like a human, feminism don't exist. But that's all they truly wanted in the first place. They are humans. They are people. They're not just human blow-up dolls. Some you say put your penis in all day, all night. They got feelings too. You feel me? And then sometimes we don't look at what we do. See, it's easy to point out what somebody else does, but we never point out our own flaws. Like, we perfect. Like, if you ever hear somebody, that's why I really don't like hearing people talk about relationships, male or female, because they always come out like they was perfect. Like, everything they did was right. Like, they never did anything wrong.
Right.
Man, she was tripping. Man, he was doing this. He was doing that. But what was you doing? Were you doing everything that a woman should do? No.
No.
Okay, then. Okay. Cause and effect. You get what you put out. You say it's about working together, not working against each other.
Correct.
And even more than now, I mean, if we want to have this thing called humanity, we need to work with each other more than ever in today's times. Being that testosterone is at an all-time low.
Everywhere, everything. And I like what Ms. Jackie put here. She says every leader needs to maintain and support the home front. Right. Needs people to do it. And without the home front being taken care of, a leader can lead. And then she said, and it's easier to give up than to try to work out differences. I agree. But I wanted to ask Jarome specifically with this 25-year track record out here in these streets. So it's like, Jarome, what I just want you to identify specifically the duties, the daily interactions of that home business front that you had that is now allowing you to go out in the world and say, hey, American people, all y'all in the District 3, I got you. Who the fuck? Like, that's a big deal. That's why I be like, who want to be responsible for all them damn people? but that's the man. That's a masculine man. He likes to conquer and make things comfortable. So can you just go over some of the literally like the things that your wife had to do to keep them kids and keep them awesome while you was away slaying dragons for 27 years? I'm not saying you weren't there, but I'm just saying.
Fortunately, my job, I flew, so I wasn't like on a ship where I had to be gone like 6 months to a year at a time, and so the big thing is I never missed big big days. You know, I never missed big things in their lives. You know, I don't remember missing a birthday. I may have missed a Thanksgiving or something, but I don't remember missing a birthday. I never missed a graduation. You know, I coached. See, here's the thing. I coached my kids in sports too. I coached Little League football. I coached T-ball. You know, I coached my son's basketball team. I coached my son's flag football team, this Pop Warner football team. You know, I taught him how to throw. You know, so I taught him all of these things that men should teach their boys, right? Mm-hmm. So I was a very integral part in my boys' lives, you know, and so and I mean, and even though, you know, sometimes I felt like I wasn't even there enough because sometimes I was gone for 2 weeks, right? Well, I was gone for a month, you know, okay, that was a month lost, but I knew and I understood, you know, and they understood, well, daddy got to go do this because this is what daddy does so we can eat. This is what daddy does to keep this house over your head. This is what daddy does to keep you free, right? To keep freedom. So, I mean, and she understood that, and she made sure that when I was gone, that they understood what I was doing. It wasn't no bad mouth, and it wasn't anything like that. Your daddy's gone, blah, 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 because, you know, a lot of people do that, you know, and so that's one of the things that I think that, you know, throughout the years, you know, in long relationships, you know, because that's what people do. You have to be able to do that. And in my profession, you know, and as far as the political game thing, man, I mean, that's just something, you know, probably way back in you know, my history of my life somewhere that just, you know, gives me this urge to give me this feeling to want to do that, you know. You know, I feel the role of a protector. I feel the role of you know, of service, being a provider, you know, and that's the same thing, I guess, when you really, you know, want to be a you know, and I don't really consider myself a politician. Yeah, I'm in the political realm, but you know, I see it of more of, you know, I don't like what's going on, you know, so somebody, you know, these people need someone that they can depend on, somebody that they can trust, you know, and I mean, and that's where the drive comes to me. A lot of people, for them, it's about power, you know, and it's about control. For me, it's more or less about freedom and being free and keeping people free. And we need leaders. And I mean, like Hassan said, everybody's not a leader, you know, and you know, people say leaders are made and people say leaders are born, right? You know, you have this, you know, this conversation: are leaders made or are leaders born, right? Leaders, I mean, to me, leaders are born. You have to have that character. You have to have that God innate energy and strength to be a leader. Yes. And then you are taught and you are nurtured into being a better leader. But, you know, and you know, and I guess that's where, you know, the to sharpen your skills, to sharpen your leadership skills, you know, but, you know, leaders are born. And I mean, you know, I just feel like, you know, it's just something I have to do and need to do, you know, at this time in my life. Shit, it might change, you know, in 2 years, 4 years, I might be like, no, this ain't what I want to do. I mean, but I mean, but right now, you know, because we need leaders in this country. This country was formed on leaders and strong leaders. You have to understand that only 3% of the people in the country at the time fought for our freedom. Only 3%. And when you look at it now, right, and you know, you step outside the matrix and you look at what happened during this COVID stuff, and you see how weak people are, and especially the men. There shouldn't have been one damn man in this country to put a face mask on his face. Not one. And if that would have happened, we wouldn't have went through this mask thing. We wouldn't have went through it because enough men would have stood up and said, oh, hell no, we're not doing that.
No.
No, ain't no way, because we free men. We're not doing that. But you know what? I saw more women standing up than the men. And that's a problem. That's a problem.
Testosterone is low. Testosterone is low.
Yeah, right. You know, it is. And I mean, and so, I mean, but that's where we are. You know, and I mean, some people call me crazy, and it may be crazy, right? But I have to look at, okay, where are leaders crazy? Where are the people that, fought and went before us that give us this freedom. Were they crazy? And if they were crazy, then yeah, I'm crazy, because I fight to the death, because our way of life, my way of life, the way of life of my children, the way of life of my family, the way of life of the legacy of my grandchildren, great grandchildren, just on down the line. We have to protect that, and men should step up and be able to do that and protect that, So no, it's not politics for me. It's about survival for me. It's about staying free for me, and really just being a leader, just a straight leader for people, really. So
that's a big damn deal. So I want to recap what you said. You basically chose a mate specifically that will be an extension of your law, so that she would uphold it. She would keep you in high regard. She would remind the children of it. Look, daddy will be back. This is what daddy's doing. He's doing this for us. And so when you came home, you was well received, and she thus exhibited that in front of her children to show he's doing the right thing, and we're gonna support him when he come home, hugs, kisses, and fun times and things like that. So the vitalness of a woman basically signing her name on a dotted line to your law would you say that was very critical in your success of 25 years in marriage?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, both parts have to agree to the contract, pretty much, and I'm not saying, that there weren't rough times and everything, because I mean, 25 years of living together and being together is always going to be rough times, sometimes, but it's just what you do to get over those times, and just make it through, especially if you have kids, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you have kids, and that's one thing I don't care how rough it got or whatever, anything like that. I would never leave my boys. I would never leave my children, to be raised, alone.
Correct.
Right. I mean, and it's just too easy to leave, and just too easy to, take a departure, and I understand, some people just, they grow out of each other, and I understand that, or you end up choosing the wrong mate. I mean, that happens a lot. You choose the wrong mate, and but when you have kids, and even if you do, like say, separate, divorce, or whatever, those kids will still have to be a part of both lives, regardless of the fact, and a strong part. I mean, you still have to do family stuff together. I mean, you do.
Yeah.
I mean, you do. I mean, because even if somebody remarry, you do stuff with, as like a stepmom, step family, it's still not that natural, bond of a natural mother, father of the same DNA.
Yeah.
That's very important, to be able to have that, because that DNA, like,
you go poly. You go poly. That's the best way to go. Or you could do that. But I'm gonna let you finish.
No. Go ahead. No, I mean, what I was saying, and I think, when a family's together, like I say, that's that DNA bond, and like I say, you're giving off the estrogen, you're giving off the testosterone to his kids. It's like a bee pollinating a flower, right? That's what it is. It's pollinating a flower, and so when a child has DNA strands from both parents, right? They still need that pollination from both of those parents, because that's who they're made of. That's who they're made from. So when you take a child and you put them with I guess, like you said, step parent or whatever, that DNA bond, biologically is broken. So.
That and that's correct. And before Hassan come in, because I'm gonna ask by Hassan specifically to go into the science of those DNA exchanges and bonds and harmoniously, literally what's happening. But I just want to ask this last question. Now that your children are out the household, would you and your wife empty nesters, right?
Right.
And that she's still there and you still married. So can you explain, why you ain't ran out the house, or why she ain't ran out the house? Because now that y'all did y'all job, How come, you know, what is the force behind y'all still being together after y'all did y'all job?
I mean, we still love each other, you know, basically, you know, and you know, we you know, we still have this bond, you know, we still have I mean just everything together, and we have plans. So, you know, we have plans, we have things, you know, that we want to do and that we still want to do, you know. I mean, even though, you know, I brought in politics and into it or whatever, you know, she's still behind me in the politics, and you know, she's not really a political person per se, but I mean, you know, it's just stuff that we, you know, want to do, and you know, I feel safe with her, she feels safe with me, you know, so I think that's pretty much the bottom line on that.
So y'all still really like in love with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I'm just asking that because I really be thinking like, could you still be super in love with somebody after y'all do everything y'all sign up to do, and you know the fat lady sang 3 or 4 times, and it's like, you know, you still like, nah, I'm here because I want to be here. And you know what? That's what my dad said last week. Like, you supposed to be with a woman should be with you because you literally not just like, but love being there with her, and she loves being there with you. So
Right.
I'm like, okay, pause, but you know, I don't, you know, that no 20, 30 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's like my whole life. And I'm like, damn, who, you know, I mean, I do have people in my family, they got like these 40 years of marriages and 50 and 60 years. I've asked me, like, are they really still happy? You know, because people, the divorce, it makes you think like, nah, I mean, I did my thing, I'm out. So it's
Right.
like, you still see people together, you like, damn, how they doing that? Like, is somebody faking or they really want to be there? So, I mean, and y'all really bonded on that. Like, even you two have a biological bond that's so serious, you know, that still that y'all can find, you know, fire and flame to be, you know, blunt casted, even though, you know, you fulfilled your duties and you did them well. Like, nobody could say nothing, like, you know, about if y'all did decide not to do it, but you want to. And it's like, man, it's a difference between I'm here because I have to. No, I'm here because I want to be. I'm right where I want to be. So that's man, that's just like, I just honor that so serious to be like, wow, like I just marvel at that all the time, at these very long like career relationships where somebody signed up to put a career in their family. That's crazy.
Right.
Jackie said, yes, it took me time to grow and forgive. However, I always allowed my boys to be involved with their dad with respect to each other much better now. We still friends. That's good because that's what's needed. As Huey Lewis sung long ago, happy to be stuck with you. Yes. And even Anthony Quinn, how he said right here, he used Latin, but it's the contract makes the law, and all law is contract. So basically, as you said, Jerome said the contract that they had with one another is one that they still don't even want to, you know, put down. It's like, no, I'm here because I want to. So that's awesome. So I'm gonna ask one last personal question, Jerome. Do y'all still do stuff like maybe vacation and date, and is it
all the time.
Is the fun y'all have?
Oh no, yeah, it's the fun. Yeah, I mean, it's the fun of it, you know, and yeah, we still and like I said, we still have plans too, you know, because a lot of things, you know, you can't plan when you have kids. You can plan, but you can't do, you know, when you have kids because of finances, maybe because of just certain things, right? You know, no, we vacation 2 or 3 times a year, and we've always done that. I mean, with the boys, you know, we would go on vacation with the kids, and then we'll do something ourselves, you know, and stuff like that. You know, stuff like, yeah. So you know, no. So we still vacation. You know, we still go on trips. I mean, we'll go, you know, just pick a place and just maybe go stay for the night or a weekend or something. You know what I mean? So we still do stuff, you know, still got vacations planned and everything. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man, I'm so elated to hear that, man. Like, so you never stop what you started, Dana, giving her attention, her time, her affection. You know, even like you said, you take the kids and then you say, then it's for y'all. You like, my girl gonna get rewarded for being my girl. So
yeah. I mean, you know, we do that, and I mean, you know, and as you grow up in age, I mean, the older, you know, you get tired. You know, I'm tired of it, but you just get tired of running sometimes. You know, or whatever. I mean, we'll have movie night. We'll do stuff like that. And everything still. But yeah, it's cool. It's good. It's still good.
I'm just glad I had to ask that personal question because I'm just like, man, that because we literally, this is not regular that you get to hear this information because people don't have the longevity of relationships to get this game, and be like, no, yeah. So like it's good. We doing this, we doing our thing. So cool you still have gay day night. And that is the number one complaint of women. When they say, what happened? I just fell out of love. Well, what happened? He was doing all this and then he just stopped. After the kids, it was like all I was doing, just slaving away with the kids and in the house. And, he never let me dress up and we ain't never go nowhere no more. And I was just.
I'm going to say something to that, though. It's always a two-way street, though.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't never one way. So somebody say, well, he stopped this or she stopped doing this. It's okay. So you stop doing something too.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Somebody stopped doing something too.
Stop opening her leg.
And maybe and maybe because you stopped doing something, he stopped doing something, or because
she stopped putting the pillow down.
I'm tired of have fun.
It's like reward.
You about to talk
benefit.
About science?
No, thank you. It's like there's no reward in this. So the man be like, yeah, Susie down the street, you know what I'm saying? She'll do it for $20. It is what it is.
Or free.
Yeah, because if she like you, because I ain't gonna lie, women like naturally just like and gravitate to masculine men, and then when we see that man holding his family down, like it's nothing more sexy than the man who runs a family, and then you see him get up in the morning, hop in his whip and run, his business or his work, and come back and hold it down, and you see him laughing up, at the end of the day with a drink in his hand or whatever he gonna have, even if it's iced tea, and know that he just holding it down. Like women just admire that, or when he go outside and wash the car or fix the flat or whatever he doing, it just when he just a man being manly, they just, I know women just be turned on like that, like damn, like he on his job, like yeah, just as a man. So that's very attractive for a man literally to be a man. So I know your wife happy with that.
And it's vice versa. It's attractive for a woman to be a woman. I'm telling you like this. If men did not like sex as much as we did, a lot of these women wouldn't have any children. There wouldn't be no single mothers. Wouldn't be none of that. But it's just something about this, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Well, that's what I wanted to do.
That's the only saving grace, I promise you. With these women, feminism, that's the only reason they still stand today. Men love sex probably more than they should, including myself.
And that's okay too, because that's what our number one, the reason the creator created us was literally to reproduce. That's our number one goal. That's the number one goal the creator made us for. Everything else is just what comes behind that. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and have a lavish wedding to do it. If you just want to go ahead and have a one night stand and do it. But the goal is reproduction. That's the goal here. And literally, when you don't, your biology starts to turn on you, which means it rapidly ages you. It starts to give you health conditions. It starts to degeneratively take your brain power down, and that's what a lot we see with as older people going to like Alzheimer's and dementia and stuff, because their body is saying, okay, you did everything, you're not really reproducing, so we're gonna help you get on up out of here. So it's no point in somebody living 100 years and ain't had a child and 100 years. The biology just ain't made to operate like that. It's made to constantly reproduce. And so even when you see these women having babies at 40, they still have some youth look to them, such as Pam Grier and Halle Berry and stuff like that, because, that's what you made to do, is reproduce. And the ones that don't, that's why you see in women, we get the tumors and the fibroids, because your womb is made to be used. It's not made to be, not used. Now, I'm not saying use it recklessly, But I'm saying it's made to be preserved until you choose your mate well, and then use the womb to bring forth the life and the legacy of that man. And you should be doing it happily and being fruitful and multiplying. That's what it says in the Bible. That's what it says in all religions. So to deny your man, it is to deny God. So because God say, you be woman, serve your man, love your man. Okay, serve him, do the things he want, help made him. Okay, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Be his place of comfort, his palace and his palace. So yeah, I agree with that. I know how signing work. I was gonna ask him to talk about the DNA exchange that's happening between couples as far as pair bonding, and then also the DNA that is being exchanged when biological children and parents are with each other, because those children fare well, especially like they be homeschooled and stuff like that. And then also like how you talked about, Jarome, about taking them on vacations. Literally, that's showing your boys, this is why daddy do this, so we can do this. This is why daddy away busting ass and slaying dragon, because
they was expecting it. They come to expect something, even for their hard work, because I told my boys, your job is to go to school and get good grades. That's your job, and when you do that, you'll be rewarded. So yeah, they expected it, as part of their reward too. And it shows them, well, if you work hard, this is what you can get. This is what you can do. This is what you can accomplish if you work hard at your job or at your business or whatever it is that you do. You reward yourself at the end of an accomplishment.
And I want to ask one more question until our son come back in. And I see that you have the business where you have the scholarships, that you give student athletes the scholarships, and then you also did some realtor. You also are a realtor and on top of your military stint. So I just want to say, how are you juggling like all of that? And then on top of that, you running for Congress. Like, damn, how much responsibility this man want?
Because I'm never satisfied. I'm never satisfied. I'm never content with being average. I'm never content with just, being complacent. Right. And, as far as the business, that comes from coaching football, because I coached football and, I saw the need of these kids, especially not the superstar kids. Okay. The superstar kids, they're going to get noticed, and they're the ones that are going to get the scholarships and stuff. My focus was on the kids that may be not the D1 type athlete, but they can play D2 ball, they can play NAIA, they can play, D3 ball, and they could go to school and get money to go to school and do what they love too, which is playing sports, right?
Yeah.
So I started a business to do that, to help these kids, get seen as well, other than just the D1 guys, to help these kids get seen and help these kids go to school and, and get academic money and help them, if they want to go to school, to get scholarships and get a college education as well. So that's what that business, doing that came about from, pretty much coaching and helping these kids, helping some of these, inner city kids that definitely would not have a chance to go to college, even though they deserve to. They fought, in the classroom, they got good grades, and and they wouldn't have a chance to go to school any other way. So that was my focus for them, with the business. As far as I have my real estate license as well. I do that. I was a real estate investor in Virginia Beach. Wow. I own like 9 homes in Virginia Beach, in the area and stuff like that. So I don't put a lot of that out in the street, because people try to use you, take advantage or whatever. But so I don't put a lot of my accomplishments out there, or anything like that, because I'm just a humble person, really. So yeah, and then I'm running for Congress, and it is a juggle. But I didn't run for Congress until my boys got old, got grown.
Right.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't, if they were still in the house and still, in high school and grade school or whatever, I wouldn't run for Congress because it's something that, because the political game is dirty.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
The political game, and I mean, when the opposition is losing, they tend to try to attack your family.
Yeah.
And I will kill a motherfucker. Let's just say that.
Period.
Point blank. And people don't want me to curse no more. But if you come after my family, I'm gonna hurt you. That's just how I'm raised. I'm a protector. So the best thing for me to do is to get my family out of the line of fire, to get my family, and so my kids are gone. My I don't put her out in the limelight, because she doesn't want to be. I don't put her all out there because she don't want to be, and so that protects her too.
Yeah,
correct. And it protects me because that's what they do. They'll try to come after your family and stuff like that. So, I mean, but yeah, so it's a juggle. It's a juggle, keeping them safe and keeping them, away from, stuff, the political game bring. But yeah, I mean, I'm a multitasker, I guess you can say, right? I mean, so that's what I do. I mean, it's just what I do.
And that's you hearing it from these are feats of masculine men. They conquer, and love conquering. So, I mean, that's awesome. I just like that people are going. The World Wide Web is able to hear how a masculine man actually operates, because we don't always get to hear it. And then when they hear it through people like Donald Trump and all that, how he just speaks like a masculine man who runs his house. They like, and I'm like, they just not used to hearing a masculine man talk, because he is not gonna bite his tongue, honey. You gonna know what he's thinking, period. So,
I mean, see, you mentioned Trump, but you know what though? Alphas didn't have a problem with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha men didn't have a problem with Trump. And if you really listen, to what he was saying. We had no problem with, even alpha females didn't have a problem with Trump, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It was the people that were not, the betas, as we call them, that really had the problems with, what he was saying and how he was saying it, and stuff like that. A lot of people have problems with me. They say, "Oh, you shouldn't say that." I'm like, well, I felt like saying it at that time, so I'm gonna do it, right? So
now let me tell y'all, the way Jarome cussed the lady out in like 8 languages. Swear to God, I'm not making this up. Jarome, somebody said they was going back and forth. Jarome be wanting to smoke on social media, like me and Matt. All us we be on that. Don, we all be on it. That's why we love Jerome's show. Anyway, Radical Republican show. But I swear, Jarome she said, I wish you would stop with all this profanity and you need to learn how to speak better English. And Jarome said, well, you know what? I'm going to tell it to you like that. Man, Jarome put about 8 different languages. I said, look at Jarome. I said, damn, Jarome.
She went away though, didn't she? She didn't say nothing else, right?
Man, you shut that down. I say, damn, I didn't even know Jarome. I say he fluent about 8 to 22 languages. God damn, he probably made the app Rosetta Stone, Babel. Man, Jarome, I could believe it. I'm talking about y'all. It was full sentence paragraphs. Everything he cussed out in English, he did it like 8 more languages. I'm not making the L. I'm not making that. And I screenshotted it. Like, y'all gonna have me find these screens. Because I was like, I couldn't believe it, yo. I was like, Jarome is not playing. Y'all better stop coming for Jarome. Jarome got that strap ready. He got his strap ready in 8 different languages. I said, damn. So where you pick up all them languages? The military?
Travel the world. I've been around the world 10 times.
Oh shit! And that, man, I don't know if I know anybody that speaks no 8 languages. I said
I don't speak them fluently. I speak some stuff. I can. I don't speak 8 languages fluently, but I can get by. I can get by in a few countries. I can eat. And I can conversate in more than.
I was just gonna say he got a conversation down. It was this one I'm telling y'all, because I know I researched. I say I gotta see if he really know that I took it, I cut and pasted. I put it in Google and put it in Translate, and that shit was exactly what it was in English. I said, God damn,
You did.
see,
you vetting me on the slide, right?
Do I? I said, I'm gonna see. I bet I want the only one. I'm just telling you now I did that. But people do that all the time. Like you said, how they'll go for your family. They'll take all the time in the world to go find some stuff to blast it. Look, he thought he was saying this. Look at all these broken halfway sentences. He don't know he talking about. It's halfway. Like the lady who was faking sign language and getting paid until they found him.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Jerome was faking. I said, Jerome just set her ass down 8 different times in 8 different languages. Damn. Okay. That was the highlight of my social media day. He said Anthony Quinn said the Tower of Babel was descended down upon her. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
And we love how you keep it real, down to earth, no bullshit. Exactly. Jerome do, he keep it real. He does. He be telling it be cool. That I say that's what I'm telling y'all as women, we the ones don't supposed to be doing no cussing. Okay, men, y'all gotta let them cuss. Masculine men gonna cuss, you gotta let them cuss. Okay, I try to watch my cussing because I know my daddy be like, what you I heard about 17 F-bombs now. No, I try not to use the F. I'll say damn or shit or bitch or something, but you ain't gonna hear me. But the masculine men, y'all gotta get out their way. Y'all got to let them be the men. They don't pose to sound like us. That's why they masculine men. Okay, they don't pose to be trying to be politically correct. They pose to tell you if something is full of it, it's full of it. Okay, if they want you off their back in 8 languages, that's
I mean,
lethal out here.
That's the thing about like a lot of these people claim to be Christians. A woman not even supposed to talk to a man that ain't her husband, so she wasn't even supposed to be arguing with you if she's a Christian. If she claimed to be.
Oh no, she might have.
So
she might have been one. Because she showed didn't like that cussing. I said, okay. Yeah, but Miss Jackie say sorry around kids, yes, hockey mom and me.
And that's in other words, I'm saying there's no place for men to go to be men, and women think that they supposed to be in everything that men do, and that's just not what it is.
It don't.
It's just not. Like for example, ain't no man supposed to be sitting in the salon where you get your hair done and your nails done and all that stuff. Like, you're not supposed to be in there with you when you having your time to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, women not supposed to be when men having their time to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We argue, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we get in the scrap, we fight.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's a man's space.
Mm-hmm.
And that's we don't have that outlet no more. So you have bottled up violence.
Yeah.
Back in the day when you had to, you know what I'm saying, you had to, stand up on what you say. And people was gonna test you on that. They weren't just gonna let you say something and just keep it moving, unless they already knew how you get down. Now everybody weak.
But Hassan, now that you back, before you might have to dip off back and work
again.
Yeah.
I've been back. I've been listening to the whole thing.
Yeah, I know you listen, but I know that you might have to stop for a second, work and come back. But I wanted you to go into the scientifics of the DNA transfers between biological parents, biological children, and pair bonding between man and woman. And you know why that's critical and why, like, an adoptive parent, I'm sorry, y'all, but adoptive parent or stepmom and stepdad can't give it. Okay. So I just want you to scientifically talk about the what's really going on right there.
Well, children have androgen receptors that come from the father, and that goes in the prenatal, and that determines the children know who their father are. We got this thing called horizontal gene transfer. Everybody's genes are going everywhere. Like right now, Jarome, all his genetic material is just flying. It just fall off. So does mine. So does everybody. So everything goes. So it just falls off him. It doesn't even. There's nothing he could do about it. It just fall off him, and it goes to the children, and the children have to pick up on it because they have the receptors to pick up on it. And what happens is when you take them away from that, then that stunts their postnatal development.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't have a father there or mother there, well, the mother has to be that prenatal, but if you don't have a father there prenatal development, then it stunts their development.
Mm-hmm.
And if you give a child to somebody else, they would never have the tools necessary to be completely themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They always have something missing.
Mm-hmm.
This is why, if you ever notice, when children are adopted or they they have a stepfather or whatever. I think it was a video that just came on Facebook not too long ago where the father, where the woman, Waka Flocka. The daughter, his stepdaughter, wanted her real father there.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what it was, because it's something biological that connect us together.
Mm-hmm.
Plasma.
And you're right, because adopted children spend lifetime seeking out their
They go
biological.
looking for their family because they're empty.
Right.
It's nothing you can give them. You can't talk them into it. You can't give them counseling and things like that. You help that will help them cope, but you can never give them what you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Only their father can give it to them.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry, but talk about that pair bond too between mother and father, biological, and then the bonds that they.
Well, that depends on the pair bonding is how we chemically bond to each other, opposite sex. So, a man likes a woman likes a man, depending on their biology. Depending on the man's biology, the woman would pair bond to him, and it's kind of like a biological contract in perpetuity, forever. So that's why you hear women be like, "Oh man, that guy that she can't, it's always that one guy." Or the man be like, "Man, that girl I let get away," or something like that. It's always something missing too, because of the pair bonding, and that's about that happens when our endocrine system is releasing certain hormones to each other. And once it's like a Wi-Fi system. To explain it in simple language, it's like a Wi-Fi, and once you connect it to it, you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you can see a guy go crazy over a woman he haven't even had sex with.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Just love her.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But once it's there, it's a connection that. So, for example, when you see people who pair bonded together, they usually, like when they die, let's say the wife dies or the husband dies, they usually die not too long after each other.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about that. Is that a result of that? Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're not pair bonded to them when they die, it's just like, you know how you got a grandmother who stayed, she lived 20 more years or 30 more years, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So she wasn't really pair bonded to granddad, but
she was just not him.
Yeah. Okay. I was definitely gonna ask about that. Mm-hmm.
I mean, people got to survive. You know what I'm saying? Granny wasn't stupid.
Yeah. I mean, and you can love
Granny
another
think all
man.
I gotta do is make some cornbread and bake a cake. Sleep with the man once a week. Are y'all crazy?
So I want you to talk about. I want you to talk about if you can pair bond with more than one person. I want you to talk about that based in gender. On how it's different for the genders. This is why women can never be men and men can't be women, specifically because biology said oh,
give me a second.
I know when I hear that bell outside, I gotta go to work. That means get on in there. Okay. Jackie say it's true. There is a piece missing in the adopted child. My mom was adopted when everything was sealed in the 50s. She still feel like a bit lost. Yeah, like she's a bit lost, correct. Because she's not getting that biological literal transfer that created her, like Jarome used perfect. Bee pollen. If we really understood the level of bees in the world that if you remove bees, like humanity will suffer, because it literally shows us that pollinating a crop and then another bee go and another bee go and they bring it all back to the queen bee. We need each other, and then especially biologically. I just want y'all to look at how happy on this picture Kobe Bryant is with his mama and dad. Look how happy they are, and he is. And look right here on the top right. Look how they look when he no longer there, because this is either the funeral or the Hall of Fame inductee. But I know it was Kobe was dead. And look how they look. It's a different demeanor. Not only is their face look, but you could just see the energy difference. Like it's like they know that they lost their seed. Period. Look
I know what we leave off at.
Now
what you? About the pair bond.
The genders of the pair bond. How?
Yeah,
men,
only
women,
a woman can only pair bond. A woman can only pair bond to one man. A man can pair bond to multiple women. And this is based on how our biology and our genetics is set up, because men are made to be fruitful and multiply. And this is why a man can love more than one woman. A woman can only love one man. She can have love for a man, but you tend to see, this is what the single mothers, for data purposes, what it is, if they have more than one father, look at the way they treat the children. You can tell the one she loved based on the way he was treated, based on the way the children are treated, opposed to the others. So,
and and on that note too, that's why, a man shoots out his DNA. He ejects his DNA into a woman. That means, naturally, a man is not supposed to intake DNA, which means a man is not supposed to be homosexual because it's not natural. And so, so that's why women also are not supposed to mix DNA, because when they mix DNA from multiple men, that what makes them crazy.
but they don't mix. They mix DNA inside of their body. But let me tell you how crazy this is. So the way the human phallus is built, it's built like a suction cup. So let's just say, for example, the egg is a straight hallway and it's a door at the end of the hallway. And let's say she slept with a man the day before and he ejaculated inside of her. The way your phallus is to remove his sperm and push it to the side. So your sperm has the clear path to the egg, and it goes vice versa. So it's actually, and a woman only has one egg per month. Man, we have billions of sperm every day. We just not the same biologically. We're not even built the same. And like you said, that's the reason why women are nuts, because you got sperm and they're cutting on and off genes. Genetics.
No pun intended.
like light switches.
Yeah.
You got, so it's like I use this example. Imagine being in your office right now and two people playing with the light 24/7, 365 for the rest of your life. That'll drive you nuts, right?
Yeah.
That's what's going on in modern women's bodies.
Honey, that's why they can't have a rest in peace of mind. So this is why biologically
the dominant sperm is going to take. See, they say as above, so below, as below, so above. The dominant sperm. If she got two dominant sperms in her body, they fighting for dominance. If she got one dominant sperm in her body, it's removing everything out, like a cleaning company, because it can only be one. There can only be one. But
so basically,
most people don't.
When the Bible even say you cannot serve two masters, this can mean on the biological level, literally.
Correct.
Yeah. The Bible got a lot of games, the book of wisdom. We got to know how to decode it, though. Got to know how to decode it. This is awesome.
Because the dominant sperm is going to come through and take everything over. And this is why, again, people, You know what I'm saying? This is why a lot of things like marriage was instituted and things like that was to protect what's yours. Because you might not be so a man might not be as dominant as another man, but he in the seat of power, whether it's through bloodline or whatever. So they created laws like marriages things to protect what's theirs. Protection mechanism, not a love mechanism. It's about protection. I'm going to protect what's mine because I know if somebody else comes in and he's more dominant than me, if I'm not the most dominant I could be, or I've been castrated at birth, whatever, then I don't have the genetic material to compete with this man on a sperm level. It's sperm wars going on because his sperm come in just like he do and just come through taking over.
Yeah.
They take it over. And if you got two dominant men in there, it's fighting to the death. And this is why women get sick and get cancers and things they never had before. It's real deep. That don't run into their family, they go crazy, they kill themselves, stuff like that.
Absolutely. So there you have it. We're going to close out. We got about a minute, 15 seconds left and on this broadcast, and we end at 4 hours because my StreamYard account ends at 4 hours and I have to restart the video. Okay, so but I thank you so much to Madison Downs, Jarome Bell, and Hassan for contributing. All masculine, heterosexual, provider, protective men who have families, and that's what they have been doing, and they share their real life experiences with us today. And shout out to Kobe Bryant and his family, and that's what he did, and Joe Bryant and Pam Bryant. Catch us next week. We'll be on Jarome Bell, the Radical Republicans, next week, Thursday, and then also my show follow on Friday. Okay, come back and join me. I hope y'all had a great time because I know I did, honey, and I hope that you all learned some things and do it. So please share. And if you want to support the show, please do it. You could do it via Cash App, or you could do it via PayPal, paypal.me/LevitaTheModel. Thank you, peace, and we are out.